If the first few weeks of the 2015 football season has told us anything, it's that anything can happen on any given day. But if home is truly where the heart is, it promises to be a good day for the IUP Crimson Hawks. It's the IUP Crimson Hawks and Edinboro Fighting Scots next on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network.
Play action pass up front there, but he decides to go end zone and finds Drew Carswell. Just to the near side, has the seam, big block coming, and Walt McGee's. And Finnegan will throw, he backs up, and it's a screen pass. And as it's going to look to throw, it's a double move, and Carswell's open, he hauls it in.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome into another week of IUP football here on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network. So happy you've joined us for another edition of the Crimson Hawks Sports Network pregame show. With Eric Cormos, I'm Josh Hill. Our sideline correspondent, Brandon Norfleet, will be along with us here in a moment. And Eric, the Crimson Hawks are finally back home. Maybe not the weather they wanted coming back home, but still a pretty good day here at IUP. And it was a good day last week for the Crimson Hawks, going to Mercyhurst and upsetting the Lakers in a tremendous PSAC West opener for the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, the Crimson Hawks defensively scored 3 touchdowns on 3 interception returns and won that game, as you mentioned, Josh, 35-14, and actually ended a 10-game win streak for Mercyhurst. So IUP now comes home and begins the second game of the PSAC West schedule. Yeah,
career high for Luigi Listabrinza with 164 yards, a career high for carries as well. The IUP Crimson Hawks are 6-0 whenever Luigi goes over 100 yards, but he's not playing here today for the IUP Crimson Hawks. Luigi out of the lineup, so they'll have to go with some other guys. But the Edinboro Fighting Scots opened their PSAC West portion of the schedule up as well, and they went up against the Cal Vulcans. And what a game for Edinboro, falling behind early. Rally coming up just short for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, they trailed at the end there 37-30, and then an interception in the Cal end zone with about 5 minutes left to go sealed that fate for them. But you look at wide receiver Darren Massey, 3 receiving touchdowns last week, so he's definitely a threat to pay attention to today. In Edinboro, 0-4 coming into the game. This is trying to avoid their second year in a row with an 0-5 start.
Yeah, Edinboro, a very young team, and boy, really could have been a confidence builder, even though coming off of a loss, to rally like that and almost come from behind against the Cal Vulcans. It was a really slow start for Edinboro. They had a hard time holding on to the football, turned the ball over a lot, but pretty good effort. We'll see what they're able to do here today. The IUP Crimson Hawks, of course, have a formula for how they like to play football. It's a new offensive system, but that doesn't really mean anything. They like to run the football, and they have a couple of different guys who can run the football. The Crimson Hawks, tremendous rushing team, and they've got a few guys in the top 9 of the PSAC rankings.
We look at that consistency you talked about, Josh, with the run game. New offensive coordinator Marty Higgins was brought in with his spread offense, and they're averaging 290 yards per game on the ground, which is good enough for best in the PSAC and 7th in all of NCAA Division II. It features 3 running backs who have all gone over 100 yards for the season. Listabrinza, you mentioned him. Chris Temple and Drew Harris as well have all gone over 100-yard mark this season. So imagine that will continue today when you look at Edinboro defensively, average-wise giving up over 220 yards per game on the ground. So look for IUP's offense to focus on that ground game.
Yeah, and on a day like this, windy, cold, maybe some rain coming in, the passing game may not be able to really get in sync like it would be on a perfect day weather-wise. Crimson Hawks have a great offensive line as well, who has played together for a while, and they've done a nice job paving the way for Luigi Listabrinza, Drew Harris, Chris Temple, and company. But for the Edinboro Fighting Scots, we have to hope that the turn of the calendar helps out Edinboro, because it was a September to forget for the Fighting Scots. Really a tough September for them. 0-4, of course, coming in. And when you look at Edinboro, they lost one of their best linebackers in Mike Shansky. Just have not been able to get off to a good start here to start the 2015 season.
Right, you talk about injuries with Shansky, back-to-back years that they've lost playmakers on defense. Shansky was the team's leading tackler a year ago, second team All-PSAC West performer. So that definitely hurts in terms of their linebacking core. And you look at Edinboro on the defensive side of the football, they've had 5 freshmen make starts this year. So very young defensive secondary, especially going for Edinboro today.
Edinboro 13th in points allowed and points given up. On the offensive side, they're young. They're pretty young on the defensive side as well. And they're going through a couple of schematic adjustments, and we'll see if they're able to finally get everything back here at IUP. But looking at the IUP Crimson Hawks, they've not gone through any schematic adjustments because they've got a stalwart as a defensive coordinator. Paul Tortorella's been here over 20 years, and he has this Crimson Hawks defense playing out of their minds right now. They're all doing their job. When you look at the IUP Crimson Hawks, 5 defensive touchdowns this year, Eric. That's more than any school in NCAA college football Division I, 2, or 3.
Yeah, very impressive. You look at that 5 touchdowns you talked about, Josh. There's been 1 in each game up to last week at Mercyhurst with the 3 interception returns for touchdowns. Dorian Lane has 2 of those 5 on the season. So very nice to see him come back in his senior season, making a contribution and making an impact as well. And you look at last week, they surrendered only 8 yards on the ground to Mercyhurst. So you talked about a very good, strong season here to the start for the IUP defense.
Yeah, the IUP defense is forcing the issue in the run. They are giving up some yardage in the pass game, but they're still taking the football away. 5 defensive touchdowns for the IUP Crimson Hawks. To put that in perspective, IUP had 5 interceptions last year in 2014, so they're certainly on their way. It'll be interesting to see how many touchdowns this IUP defense is able to score this season. But shifting the focus over to the Edinboro Fighting Scots football team, a couple of talented players, as every team in the PSAC has. So who's a player you're looking for on the Edinboro Fighting Scots side of things?
Sure, I'm going to give you 2, one on each side of the football. Offensively, wide receiver Darren Massey. We talked about him a little earlier. He is 4th all-time on the receptions list at Edinboro, but only 17 receptions away from the career mark. And then on the defensive side of the football, focus on Gabe Tillman. He's a linebacker. He came from Lackawanna Community College, but he's also an Army veteran, so offers a different perspective. In his first game last week, he got injured in the opener, and last week he recorded 16 tackles. So keep an eye on number 15, Gabe Tillman.
We're just getting started here on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network. That'll close out this portion of the Crimson Hawks Sports Network pregame show. IUP looking for their 50th all-time homecoming victory, while the Edinboro Fighting Scots look to rain on IUP's parade. We'll step out, come back with the top plays from around the PSAC right after this on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network.
Students in communications media at Indiana University of Pennsylvania can focus on a variety of areas, including media promotions. Our promotions students learn their skills by working in a hands-on environment, gaining real-world experience. They learn how to use media to promote, produce, and manage events, and how media organizations operate. They create promotional campaigns and help clients pitch their services, products, and events. With excellent classes led by experienced teachers, the Communications Media Department at IUP is perfect for students interested in media promotions.
Please direct your attention to the middle of the field for today's coin toss. The captain for IUP, number 25, Kevin Clark, number 48, Dorian Lane, and number 93, Ron Gibson. For Edinboro, number 4, Darren Massey, number 9, Alex Caratelli, number 71, Jacob Potts, and number 91, Dominic.
Who's going to call the toss? That is a tails. That is a heads. That is a heads. That is a tails. Your call was? It's a heads. Okay.
All right, hit up there if you want. You can stand.
Victory over Edinboro.
Yeah, you look at that, but 2 years ago, don't forget, Edinboro came in here and beat IUP at the time. IUP was nationally ranked, and Edinboro has also won 2 out of the last 3 times they've come into Miller Stadium and Coach Browning, the head coach for Edinboro, is actually 4-2 in his last 6 games here in Indiana. So keep that in mind as we move forward today.
Yeah, we mentioned it in the intro to the pregame. Anything can happen any given day in the PSAC. You look at the wild PSAC West. Last week, Slippery Rock, of course, falling to Seton Hill, Clarion beating Gannon, and IUP defeating Mercyhurst, which is technically an upset as far as the PSAC rankings are concerned in PSAC West. There's the standings you see right now. Crimson Hawks at 3, and really it's a theme because teams that were picked to finish near the top are near the bottom right now, and vice versa. So the parity of the PSAC, of course, is tremendous, and it's been that way for a couple of years.
Yeah, it is. The PSAC West is very strong, and when you look at the standings right now, you have 4 teams undefeated in conference play, including IUP. But you look at the next 2 weeks schedule for the Crimson Hawks is at Seton Hill and home against Cal. So if they can defeat Edinboro today, they set themselves up to really control their own destiny in the PSAC West race.
Here come the IUP Crimson Hawks. A couple of notes to remind you about. Jordan Brown will not be playing, and neither will Luigi Listabrenza. Take a look at this little pregame get-together for the Edinboro Fighting Scots as they're ready to take the field. It should be a good one here, of course. These two teams always play competitive football games, and Edinboro always seems to play well here at Miller Stadium. You may remember 2013. We'll be mentioning that in depth later on in the broadcast when Edinboro came in here to IUP and defeated the 22nd ranked Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, today marks the first home start for redshirt freshman quarterback Lenny Williams. It's been a change of the guard from Chase Hazlitt, who started the first game of the season, and now Williams will make his 2nd consecutive start. Of course, he's 1-0 as a starter after last week's 35-14 victory in Erie against Mercyhurst.
The IUP Crimson Hawks have run the football tremendously, and that's something they wanted to get back to this season. And today will be a perfect day weather-wise to run the football. They will have to do it a bit short-handed, though. They have a lot of running back depth, which is a good thing. Luigi Listabrenza is not in the lineup. He will not play today, but Chris Temple should be back. Of course, Drew Harris is here and others, and we're ready to get this football game started.
Yeah, Josh, you alluded to that running game. IUP averaging 290 yards per game on the ground. That leads the PSAC and is also 7th best in NCAA Division II. So expect to see a lot of Lenny Williams handing off to Chris Temple and Drew Harris.
Jordan Brown also out as a kick returning option, so the Crimson Hawks have Walt Pegues and Jay Watkins ready to return for this game. Taking a look at Edinboro, their kicker is Austin Reese. So we're ready to roll here on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network. Very happy homecoming to you all. And we're back on the air after a week off as the Crimson Hawks hit the road. We took a week off, but here we go. IUP football, we are underway. That kick sends Pegues back and will bounce out of the end zone, touchback to start the game. And here comes the redshirt freshman Lenny Williams and this IUP offense, averaging over 35 points per game, over 437 yards on the offensive side per game.
Yeah, the sample size has been small, but the early results have been very positive for new offensive coordinator Marty Higgins. You talked about it, Josh, averaging 35 points a game. This year in 2014, it was only 25 points a game, so a 10-point swing for IUP in 2015.
Hard count for the Crimson Hawks, starting with a pistol set. Edinboro had 5 down linemen, but they hand off to Chris Temple, and Temple was tripped up there on the near side, making that tackle for Edinboro. Armani Davis, a young player, actually a grad student at the defensive end spot.
Temple able to go through the right side, head upfield for 2 yards. And look for Edinboro, they surrender almost 220 yards per game on the ground defensively, so see what adjustments they try to make to stop this IUP run attack.
Fighting Scots give up 35.8 points per game. Here's another handoff, this time to Chris Temple, and Temple musters his way for an IUP first down, and I thought Temple was just this close to breaking it for a really big gain, Eric.
Very veteran offensive line for IUP. That's one of the reasons why they're first in the PSAC in terms of rushing yards per game. But Temple's a big, strong, physical runner. You can see here carrying multiple Edinboro tacklers up ahead for another 3 or 4 yards on that second effort.
Good to have Chris Temple healthy. He's been dealing with a nagging shoulder injury the past couple of weeks. 1st and 10 for the Crimson Hawks, and Williams will put the ball in the air for the first time. Dump it left side to Walt Pegues. Tries to stiff arm a man, but a flag comes down as that tackle was made by Mitch Thomas and brought Walt down, perhaps with a horse collar or maybe a face mask.
Yeah, we'll see what they go with here on the sideline, but when you see a flag thrown in from behind the play like that, that's usually what it points towards. But Pegues continues his fine season, Josh. He leads IUP in receptions and receiving yards. Nice to see the sophomore is also a dynamic player on special teams.
Face mask, number 24. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So that face mask penalty, called it on number 24, but it looks like that was Mitch Thomas holding the face mask there. 15-yard penalty will give IUP the football inside the 35, just inside the 35 to the 34.
A nice positive start for IUP offensively. Really nice to see. This allows Williams to get into some comfort zone.
Williams keeps it on the zone read, left side. Williams is able to pick up a first down and then is knocked out of bounds. Some good speed and athleticism shown by the redshirt freshman.
A nice run. You talked about, Josh, that zone option. Takes it outside to the left for 12 yards, but that's the element that Williams brings to the game, that use of his legs. And with that spread offense, he has the ability to make moves and make plays in open space.
Another 1st and 10 for the IUP Crimson Hawks. This is the first possession of the football game, and they're driving. Chris Temple, right side. Lots of green grass, and he takes it down Philadelphia Street and into the end zone. Touchdown, Crimson Hawks.
And Chris Temple off the right side again, 22-yard scamper towards the end zone, but you can see what IUP's objective is here.
Some really nice blocking by that offensive line. You see the big seam for Chris Temple. It could have fit a Mack truck through there, Eric. That was really good work blocking by the IUP offensive line.
And nice job by C.J. Jackson as well, the tight end, coming in and cleaning up his man on the block.
Stu converts the extra point, and it's 7-0, just like that. We'll be back on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network.
Students in communications media at Indiana University of Pennsylvania can focus on a variety of areas, including media promotions. Our promotion students learn their skills by working in a hands-on environment, gaining real-world experience. They learn how to use media to promote, produce, and manage events, and how media organizations operate. They create promotional campaigns and help clients pitch their services, products, and events. With excellent classes led by experienced teachers, the Communications Media Department at IUP is perfect for students interested in media promotions.
We have so much to celebrate in Division II, but we're especially proud of our commitment to Make-A-Wish.
Division II student athletes have led a 10-year initiative to raise funds and help grant wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions.
Nearly $3 million have been raised, and hundreds of children's wishes have been granted.
We play hard, we work hard, and we support others in need. Why? It's simple.
Because we care.
Back here on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network, happy homecoming, everybody. The IUP Crimson Hawks trying to win their 50th homecoming game in their history. 49-17-4 all-time in homecoming football games. That scoring drive for the Crimson Hawks, 5 plays, 75 yards. Chris Temple, a 22-yard run, capping things off. And we'll see the Fighting Scots. And here's Darren Massey, the very skilled kick returner, tries to reverse his field, slips a tackle, and is down near the 30. And boy, it looked like DeAndre Easterling had him dead to rights, but the slippy Massey was able to get some yardage here. And here's the Edinboro Fighting Scots offense for the first time today. It's quarterback Jake Sisson and the Fighting Scots. Boy, they have struggled so far this year, only scoring 16.3 points per game and just over 100 yards on the ground for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, their offense, they're going to focus on the passing game. Look for Darren Massey. We saw him on the kick return. Number 4, the slot receiver right now. Very talented wide receiver.
Fumbled snap by Sisson. He's got to tuck the ball. Fumbles it again, and now Kevin Clark has it. 2 fumbles on 1 play, and IUP has the football near the red zone again, and this could get ugly for Edinboro if they don't really find a way to regather themselves here.
Well, Sisson, that's a quarterback mistake. He gets flushed in the pocket, bad snap, so he's kind of off kilter to begin with, and he comes up and just loses the football, Josh. And it bounces right into Clark's hands, as you mentioned, and IUP right now sets themselves up really nicely at the 29-yard line. But if you're Sisson, you've got to have better ball control than that.
And I did want to mention, I saw it last drive and I saw it against Lockhaven. IUP, a spread set. Of course, you see the shotgun, but they have 2 tight ends in. CJ Jackson lined up as a tight end. Kevin Edwards almost as an H-back, but that play doesn't work for Chris Temple. Austin Meats was there to make the tackle.
Yeah, Meats made a nice job, came off of his end position, unblocked, and was able to come in and make the play for Edinboro. And that's what Edinboro needs. They need a big play because right now they're up against it. They come in here losing 8 of their last 9 games on the road. So they need something to snap that string, trying to avoid their 2nd consecutive year with an 0-5 start. Somebody on defense needs to step up.
A young Edinboro football team, and we've said it before, same thing with the Crimson Hawks. The start of the game is very important because as a young team, confidence and mental focus is really affected. Lenny Williams, zone read, picks up a first down and is knocked out of bounds late. A couple flags come down, and looks like we're tacking some more onto that particular play.
Looks like a likely late hit, which will move the ball halfway towards the end zone, so IUP will set up shop at about the 6.5.
Late hit out of bounds, number 8. Half the distance, automatic first down.
Joseph Gebhardt makes the call, the referee for today's game. IUP will have the ball inside the 10 at the 6-yard line, and they're driving once again. See the late hit. That's a tough call, but still a late hit, and IUP trying to go up by 2. Temple has the edge, and he is in. That's another IUP touchdown, and boy, are the Crimson Hawks coming out to play here today. And it's a 2-score game before the fans have even had a chance to settle into their seats.
Well, you see what the game plan is. Temple already his 2nd rushing touchdown of the afternoon. He has one from the right side, and now this one coming from the left side. And Temple, nice job, gets outside, able to get around the edge, able to beat linebacker Hayes Wallman and get in for the 2nd touchdown.
And that is the 2nd rushing touchdown of the day. Stu nails the extra point. We're stepping out. Come back with more IUP football. It's a 14-0 game. We'll be back on IUP TV.
I fell in love with the campus, with the people, with my IUP life. See it for yourself. Visit us. Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
Success. We see it every day. Hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes, internationally known faculty who are committed to your success. Real-world experiences to guide you on your career and life path. An alumni network 120,000 strong. I'm IUP President Mike Driscoll. Visit us. Find your success at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Sean Bowling ready to send it off for the IUP Crimson Hawks, who have jumped up to a 14-0 lead. 2 Chris Temple touchdown runs. This one of the 6-yard variety caps a 3-play, 29-yard drive. Massey will get a chance to return it for Edinboro, and Massey is hit and dropped. Pretty nice tackle made there, special teams wise by IUP. And take a look at my man Mason Tortorese in on the stop.
Let's see what Edinboro does here to respond offensively. You're down 2 scores, and the game is barely 3 minutes old. As Sisson, now this is his first year as a starter. You're 0-4, you're on the road, you're facing adversity. Let's see what Edinboro is able to do here in terms of a response.
Turnovers have been a big issue for Edinboro all year long. quarterback Jake Sisson has more interception passes than touchdowns so far this season, and Edinboro has not been able to get much going in the running game either. They're going to try here with tailback Corey Bell, and pretty good penetration there by Dorian Lane. He's swallowed up by that defensive line.
Dorian Lane, one of a trio of talented linebackers. Look at IUP's linebacking crew with Lane, Kevin Clark, Miles Catlin as well. Very talented linebacking crew. But Edinboro's got to get something going here quick.
Loss of 2 on the play for Bell. We've got some early movement here. We'll hear from Joseph Gebhardt.
Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty.
False start called on the offensive lineman there, R.J. Hughes, and R.J. Hughes backed up and almost ran over the referee for making the call. I think that was interesting. But you see the IUP defense constantly switching players. Matt Moad and Alan Wright come in, and there's a lot of depth on this IUP team on both sides of the football, offense, defense, and they like to use it to their advantage. 2nd down and 17 for Sisson. He'll put the ball in the air, set up a screen pass to Caratelli, and Caratelli is dropped short. But Edinboro's got a nice 1-2 punch at the receiver spot with Massey and number 9, Alex Caratelli. He's the redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, he's a transfer from Robert Morris University, and he had 6 catches a week ago in that Edinboro loss at Cal. So you mentioned it, Josh. A couple very nice weapons with Massey and Caratelli there at the wide receiver position. But now you're set up in a 3rd and long. The bubble screen doesn't work, and now you're staring at a 3rd and 17 from your own 25.
Edinboro's backed up. 5 wide receivers in the football game for the Fighting Scots. Jake Sisson alone in the shotgun. 3-step drop. He steps up, and my goodness, he's got nowhere to go. Matthew Moad all riled up here on this homecoming, and Edinboro has to punt. Sisson really had no chance there, Eric.
No, he dropped back. By the time he was able to step up and look downfield, he was flushed out by 3 IUP defenders, Batts and Moad. Nice job finishing him off and getting the first sack of the afternoon.
Austin Reese punts and kicks for Edinboro. Very talented special teams player. Walt Pegues has a chance to return it here. Reese from his own end zone steps into with a punt. Pegues calls the fair catch and makes it right at midfield. Let's step out for 30 and come back with some more IUP football. Crimson Hawks back on the field after this.
Can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, no thanks, not my thing.
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Back on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network, here's the 3rd possession of the day for the IUP Crimson Hawks. Williams screen pass left side to Pegues, and Pegues is able to get about 5 yards before he's knocked out of bounds.
And Williams looked out and saw one-on-one coverage with Pegues and Edinboro cornerback Mitch Thomas. That's a matchup you're going to take. The cornerback is playing soft. Just a nice pitch and catch, picks up 6 yards.
2nd down for IUP. Temple in the football game, and he'll get the handoff right up the gut. And Temple with a nice burst to the 35. And we've got a player down. It looks like Tony Morganti is down on the turf. So let's go ahead and step out here for 30 as Tony Morganti's getting looked at. We'll come back here with more IUP football after this.
It's hard to explain. It just became home. There are hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes and faculty that really get to know you. Amazing internships and everywhere, programs that help to find a job that is right for you. It's what IUP is about, a commitment to your success. See it for yourself. Visit us, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
We're back on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network, and as Tony Morganti is down getting looked at here, a nice shot from our sideline camera. Training staff Rob Barron, head coach Kurt Signetti, Dr. Wilson out looking at Tony right now. But the Edinboro Fighting Scots are a team that plays well here at IUP, and if you don't believe me, I want to harken you back a little bit, Eric, to 2013. And it was a forgettable day for the IUP Crimson Hawks when the 22nd ranked Crimson Hawks fell to Edinboro 36-30. And boy, it was really a back and forth contest with a lot of turnovers in that game.
Yeah, IUP, you're looking at 3 interceptions. In the game itself, you had 4 blocked kicks and 5 total fumbles. You had 3 kickoffs that went out of bounds, so it was a sloppy game. But Edinboro, you mentioned it, Josh, they've had success here. They won in 2013. They've won 2 out of the last 3 times they've come here. So, and Coach Scott Browning, he's 4-2 in his last 6 trips to Miller Stadium.
Back after the injury timeout, 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Williams in the gun. Handoff to Temple, and Temple is hit and dropped nicely. Good work defensively by Devon Groves, and talking with Coach Signetti earlier in the week, he said he really liked Groves as a safety.
Yeah, he's another one of these young defensive backs. He's a sophomore for Edinboro's defensive secondary, but they had over 50 starts made last year on defense by freshmen.
Sean McVeigh is finally in the lineup here at wide receiver. This time it's Chris Temple on the right side. He has a seam, and Groves is there to make another tackle as a safety. But the combination of C.J. Jackson and Kevin Edwards are just doing tremendous as far as sealing the edge for the Crimson Hawks, and they're really taking advantage of those 2 tight ends.
And Temple's doing a nice job as well. He's showing some patience, and you talked about it, Josh. IUP is sealing off that edge, and Temple isn't being touched until he reaches the second level of the defense, 8 or 10 yards downfield.
Pegues comes in motion, and he gets it on the jet sweep. Pegues cuts outside and is almost able to pick up a 1st down. Mitch Thomas made the tackle, but so many weapons for the IUP offense. This time Pegues comes as a back out of the backfield and gets the football.
Yeah, Pegues really is a triple threat. You look at it in terms of return, receiving, and now you can see he's able to rush the ball as well.
There's another pass play to Walt Pegues. Crimson Hawks working Pegues into the football game early here, and IUP has it in the red zone once again. This time they've got the ball on the 6-yard line. Last time they had the ball on the 6, they handed it off to Chris, and he took it into the end zone.
Well, nice game plan offensively for IUP. They're running the football well, and those quick, short passes have been very effective.
Temple has it again. Beats his man to the corner and takes it in. That's another touchdown, and boy, the Crimson Hawks are soaring on homecoming here in the 1st quarter. 3rd touchdown of the game for Chris Temple. It's 20-0.
Yeah, very nice push up front by the offensive line. Very nice sealed block by the tight end, Kevin Edwards. You talked about them earlier, Josh, and Temple's able to walk in, gives the stiff arm to Thomas, and into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the quarter.
It's a good thing Stu stretched out before the game, because this is his 3rd extra point attempt of the quarter. This time it's up, and it is good. Ladies and gentlemen, the Crimson Hawks are doing their job here today. 21-0 in the 1st quarter. We'll be back on IUP TV.
Think of the NCAA as a marching band. We wouldn't stop with halftime. We'd be full-time, celebrating student athletes in everything they do. Okay, so don't think of us as a marching band. Think of us as a spirit squad. Well, just know we're always there for student athletes.
The brain is a remarkable organ. It's almost infinite in its capacity. Its ability to reach its full potential is limited by only one thing: the heart. For if the heart isn't fully engaged in what you're doing, if you have no drive, no passion, the brain will simply go through the motions. Find your success at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
21-0 IUP on top of Edinboro. 6:52 remaining in the first quarter. Eric with that carry by Chris Temple. The Crimson Hawks are already over 100 yards rushing on the day, and Temple approaching the century mark already here in the first quarter. When you look at his stats, he's got 68 yards. Right side return for Massey, and he's got nowhere to go. So we'll see what Edinboro's able to do. Just a little more context of this series. These teams have been playing for a long time. Last meeting came at Sox Harrison Stadium as the IUP Crimson Hawks spoiled Edinboro's homecoming with an 18-8 victory over the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, you look right now, Edinboro struggling 4 yards of offense, and we're midway here through the first quarter. So very slow start for the Fighting Scots. And you look at IUP on the flip side, already 133 yards of total offense.
Sisson in the gun, play action pass, rolls to his left. He's under pressure. He eludes one man and tucks the ball away, then gets out of bounds. Some nice running ability by Jake Sisson.
Yeah, Sisson does a nice job. He's flushed out to the left. He stays patient. He continues to look downfield and then able to get up front and pick up about 5 or 6 yards. Nice job by Sisson. Didn't panic and was able to get around a defender.
Sisson coming off a career day last week against the Cal Vulcans, had a tough start to this game, fumbling the football on 2 occasions, the second of which fell into the arms of Kevin Clark. But Edinboro really needs to get something going on offense. They need to do it fast here. Nice play on first down for Sisson. This time the handoff to Corey Bell, and Bell is down probably about a yard short of the first down. IUP trying to force the issue with a fumble, but Bell was down.
Yeah, he was down. Fumble was caused by contact. And Edinboro, they haven't abandoned that run game, and now it sets them up in a 3rd and short situation, 3rd and very manageable. And right now for Edinboro, just get that first down, keep the ball, get some momentum moving.
21-0 here in the first quarter. Now under 6 minutes to go with a winding clock and a 3rd down and 1 for the Fighting Scots. Quick drop and a quick throw and a nice catch made by Caratelli. Pretty good adjustment by the Edinboro receiver to make the play and pick up a first down.
The throw was a little behind him, but Sisson was decisive. He dropped back and he got rid of that football. Caratelli turned around and it was there. And nice job by him making that readjustment. And now Edinboro, now you can breathe a little bit. You're not going to get 21 points back at once, but that first down now builds some momentum and some confidence.
Yeah, they're finally starting to work their way towards the other side of the field here. They've been backed up inside the 20 for much of the game. Pistol set, short drop, and Sisson looks to throw, fires it deep, and it's away from everybody here. A windy day, and the Sisson may have just thought it was better to just chuck it out of bounds.
A smart decision by Sisson, throws it out of bounds. Had a receiver in the area, Connor Hollenbeck, but he wasn't going to make that catch. It was clearly a throwaway.
For the Edinboro Fighting Scots, other players of note here, of course, receiver Connor Hollenbeck is out there. Caratelli and Massey are the main wide receiving threats. The tight end is Nick Helmick. Offensive line features a nice transfer in Tavius Bridges. He's number 73, right guard right now for the Fighting Scots. It's a 2nd down and 10, and Edinboro is forced to take a timeout. And you know what that means. We're taking a timeout as well. We'll be back on IUP TV with more coverage of Crimson Hawks football.
Runners on your mark.
You roll out at the dawning of the game. Heart racing as you make your little getaway. But there's always a scar when you fall. We lose our way, we get back up again. It's never too late to get back up again. And one day you won't shine again. You may be knocked out, but not out forever. Lose our way, we get back up again. It's never too late to get back up again. And one day.
Back on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network, there you see the Edinboro Fighting Scots sporting their new look in 2015. Some fresh-looking uniforms, adding black to their color scheme. The IUP Crimson Hawks sporting some new uniforms as well. Both teams are looking good. There's only one team playing good right now, though, Eric. That's the IUP Crimson Hawks. 21-0 lead, 5:19 to go in the first.
Definitely a sluggish start for Edinboro. There's no doubt about it. But IUP, look offensively, 12 plays at 20 yards or more coming into this game. And now already Chris Temple, a 22-yard run for a touchdown.
2nd down and 10 for Sisson. It's a 3-step drop, fires over the middle, and some pretty good coverage by Allen Wright. And the late flag comes in, and Wright must have got there just a touch early. And that flag was quite late, and they're going to tack Allen Wright with a PI.
And Sisson took a big hit on that play, but he got rid of it from both Robertson and Lane on the blitz.
Pass interference. Defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Here's the replay. Allen Wright maybe had that left arm hooked in. That's a pretty solid call from the officials there. He had a good angle at it, the side judge. So first down, and Edinboro is finally into IUP Crimson Hawks territory for the first time today. The line of scrimmage for Edinboro is the 43. Jumbo backfield here with 2 backs alongside Sisson in the shotgun. Sisson with a play action pass, chased down by Moad and dumps it off there. Quite nifty. Trey Staunch made the catch there for the Fighting Scots, and Sisson had to get rid of it with Moad closing down.
Yeah, he had Caratelli and Massey both downfield, but they were covered really well by the IUP secondary. And Sisson just makes a nice decision, dumps it off to Staunch. Don't pick up much, maybe a half yard or so, but you're still moving forward. You got a first down, now you have a penalty, now you're almost at the 40-yard line. So if Edinboro can keep this up here, get some confidence and move forward.
Watch the flitch. Watch the flitch.
Sisson looking to throw, sets up a screen right side, and there's nothing doing. Jay Watkins did a good job blowing up the block. He stopped Caratelli, and Karan Gibson was there to make the play as well.
Yeah, loss of 2 for Caratelli, the receiver. But those quick screens, you can see Sisson really hasn't tried to push the football downfield too much. But here on a 3rd down and 12 at the 45, he's going to have to air it out a little bit, you would think. At least an 8 or 10-yard pass and try to get the receiver upfield for the first down. But it's a very windy day here as well, Josh, so that can definitely factor into the play calling.
Yeah, but I'm sure everyone just heard that gust of wind blow by right a couple seconds ago. Jamal Evelard is a redshirt freshman lined up to the side of Jake Sisson in the shotgun. Sisson has to roll to his right, looking, has time, fires back across the field, and what a play by Takai Turner, jumping the pass, and another interception for the Crimson Hawks defense. Everyone doing their job, and boy, they're playing some good football right now.
And that's interception number 6 on the season for IUP. And Takai Turner, that's his 2nd pick of the season. Sisson rolling, throwing back across the field, and Turner does a nice job of recognizing that. Stepped in front of Nick Helmick and able to make the interception. So nice job. 2nd turnover already by Sisson.
That's always a problem with rolling across and throwing across your body like that. It gives defenders time to jump the play, and Takai Turner did just that.
It was almost a dual mistake. Sisson throws against his body, A, and then B throws it back over the middle of the field.
Yes. Turnover number 2 on the day for Edinboro. 3:35 to go in the first quarter. Crimson Hawks taking it to the Fighting Scots. Williams connects with Swaneek Brown, and he's forced out of bounds a couple of yards shy of that first down marker. And the Crimson Hawks moving quickly here up to the line.
Brown stepped up and done a very nice job for them. He's another one of these young freshman wide receivers, and stepping in really to that 2nd receiver role and doing a nice job.
IUP already over 100 yards on the day running the football.
Run!
Temple does pick up a first down, and I think Lenny Williams heard offensive coordinator Marty Higgins let him know what to do, to run the football. He had a seam, but he was trying to go down the field.
Well, Williams was looking downfield, as you mentioned, Josh. He had his head up, was looking at his receivers, but still, he had the presence of mind, gets out of bounds right at the first down marker, and able to set up IUP 1st and 10 on the move yet again inside Edinboro territory.
Shannon Jackson gets the carry this time from the handoff, and Jackson finds some room to run off the left side of the offensive line, picks up about 3 yards or so, making it 2nd down.
Jackson, a sophomore out of Fairview, Pennsylvania, up near Erie. Another one of these young stable of backs that IUP has. He also is a redshirt sophomore.
Edinboro's got a nice defensive line. They've got some talented players. You mentioned Josh Kibbe out there. Here's Shannon Jackson. Kibbe's able to blow that one up, but Jackson's able to break free with multiple flags down on the play. He was forced out of bounds by Ricky Bailey, but 2 flags coming out, and we'll hear from Joseph Gebhardt.
One of the flags is in the backfield, looks to be in the area of holding, and the back judge also threw a flag on the far sideline. So let's see what he has there. Possibly another hold.
Holding, number 11, penalties decline. Have a hold, 74 on the offense. 10 yards from the previous spot, 2nd down.
So 2 holding penalties, and as I was saying, the Edinboro defensive line is very stout. They were able to force the issue that time. There's a lot of weight on that defensive line with Josh Kibbe, the redshirt junior, at 285. Of course, Dominic Principali is a senior at 258, and then Sam Breeze in the middle, a freshman at 253. Williams has an open receiver over the middle, and it's Walt Pegues. Pegues makes another reception and picks up a nice gain on that one.
Going back to, you talked about the Edinboro defensive line. Sam Brees, he's a redshirt freshman for Edinboro, but he's actually a transfer from Kent State, where he's a former high school and college wrestler. So very nimble and quick on that defensive line for Brees.
Hard count for Williams and the Crimson Hawks. It's 3rd down and 3. 1:30 to go in the first quarter, a 21-0 game for IUP right now. 3rd down, and it's a handoff to Shannon Jackson. Jackson had to move laterally initially and is only able to pick up about a yard on the play. Making that tackle for Edinboro was Josh Kibbe. He had 16 last week against California.
Yeah, Kibbe and Trey Hall both got in there for Edinboro, did a nice job. Stopped Jackson about 1.5 yards. Maybe about 2 yards short of the 1st down, and IUP, you're up 21-0. The football on your side of the football field. You're going to look to go for it here. The running attack has been very effective today thus far.
Absolutely, and the hard count has been something that has worked almost on a couple of occasions. Edinboro has jumped, but they've been able to get back into their neutral zone. A quick snap here. Williams keeps it on the zone read. Williams cuts outside, picks up a block down towards the 30, and then is ridden out of bounds. And Lenny Williams showing what he does. That's another run for the IUP quarterback.
Yeah, Williams does a nice job on that read option, keeps the ball, takes it out to the right side. And once he does that, he's got wide open spaces there. He's able to make the defender miss. There, Lindell Service, and the nice job downfield blocking. You see there Walt Pegues blocking his man, and Williams sets up shop inside the 15.
Isaiah Mims was able to pick up a key block to spring Williams for the 1st down. And IUP has the ball inside the 20. Williams on a play action has to duck a man and then throws underneath to Kevin Edwards, and Lenny Williams just has a sense to avoid the pressure and make something positive out of nothing.
Yeah, initially Williams was looking for Pegues up there on the goal line. That was covered very well by Edinboro. Nice presence of mind. As you can see there, makes the defender miss, Principale. And able to hit his tight end. And he forced out of bounds there, Kevin Edwards.
That's the end of the first quarter. That'll do it for the first quarter of play. And what a first quarter of play for the Crimson Hawks. They're up 21-0. We'll come back, IUP in the red zone, after this commercial break.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
With commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why. These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
I see trees of green, roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful
Welcome back to the Crimson Hawk Sports Network. You see some nice fan support, and everybody's bundled up on a cold day here at Miller Stadium. Josh Hill, Eric Gormos, Brandon Norfleet in the booth with us here today. And Eric, we looked over the course of the break and found that Lenny Williams is having himself a day with his arm and his leg. 6 for 6 in the passing game, and he also has 53 yards on the ground as well.
Yeah, 54 yards through the air, so 101 total yards for the freshman, making his first start at home.
Jackson spins at the line, but he's swallowed up. Davis was there. Armani Davis made the tackle for Edinboro.
Edinboro now setting up a third down situation, 3rd and 5. You can get a stop. That'd be really key for Edinboro. Try to force IUP, hold them to a field goal.
Personnel changes as Isaiah Mims comes in the game. Chris Temple is the running back. And a 3rd down and 8 for IUP. Just underway in the second quarter of play. 14:24 on a winding clock for the Crimson Hawks in the red zone once again. Williams looks right, and it is almost intercepted off the tip from Isaiah Mims, and Mitch Thomas was there to force the issue, and Williams was just a bit off.
Nice coverage by Edinboro. Made a really small window for Williams to have to drop that football into. Nice job by the Fighting Scots. Defense, look, you make a stop. Defense finally steps up and makes a play to see if they can do something here on special teams.
Stu tries to attempt this field goal. Connor Jackson holds. Mike Pietropola is the holder, rather. Connor Jackson snaps, and Stu was able to come in and miss that field goal there, so they miss it. And we'll keep it here with 14:11 to go in a 21-0 game as both teams are heading back out onto the field. The Edinboro offense will try to put some points on the board.
Well, you look at the first quarter, Josh, real quick recap. Total yards in the first quarter, IUP 185 yards on 22 plays. Edinboro only 8 yards on 11 plays, so very slow start for the Fighting Scots. Only 2 first downs compared to 12 for IUP. So Edinboro now, new quarter. Let's see if Sisson and the Fighting Scots can change their fortunes here in the second quarter.
Sisson deploys Massey and Hollenbach as receivers to the near side of the field. And here's Corey Bell on the carry, but Bell is hit and dropped by the IUP defense, and some nice work by Takai Turner to force the issue. Justin Weldon was also clogging things up from his defensive line spots.
And you look at Edinboro being down 3 scores. This isn't a quick tempo, fast-paced offense. So playing from behind is not really what they do. So let's see what Sisson can do. He's going to definitely be looking for Massey and Caratelli at his wide receiver positions.
Quick pass over the middle is complete and actually dropped. And boy, did Eric Williams lay a big hit on Darren Massey. And Massey had it, but the force of that impact jarred the ball loose. And good to see that Massey's okay, because he was down for a couple of moments.
Yeah, you can see Sisson kind of left him out to dry. And Williams comes in from that safety position, makes the big hit. And Williams coming back after a missed 2014 season and playing very well in the secondary.
3rd down and 3 for Edinboro. 13:10 to go in the second quarter. 21-0 IUP on top. 5 wide receiver set for Sisson and the Fighting Scots. Sisson will take the snap. He's hit and dropped, and boy, this IUP defense was in on Sisson as soon as he got the football. Eric Williams, Karan Gibson forced the issue that time.
Yeah, big Karan Gibson gets back there and disrupts what Sisson wants to do and gets the sack. And Gibson, one of the leaders in the PSAC and tackles for loss, adds another one there. And then Williams able to come in on the blitz from his safety position and finish off Sisson.
Reigning PSAC Special Teams Player of the Week is on to kick it for the Fighting Scots. Austin Reese forces a fair catch from Pegues. Things are getting chippy, and the teams are back out on the field, so we'll keep it here once again, 21-0, and Eric Williams was able to pick up a sack, and IUP's formidable enough on the defensive side of the ball in their line. Whenever they start sending extra players, it's really hard to contain the Crimson Hawks as far as a pass rush.
Yeah, it's been a balanced, really well done in terms of the defense for IUP. But you look at Edinboro, they're just struggling very much so on the offensive side of the football. They seem very limited with what they can do in terms of play calling and ability, and it's going to be tough for them to climb out of this 3-score hole.
Here's Chris Temple, and Temple is almost able to break his way to the end zone, but he's dropped near the 20, and another big chunk of yardage for Chris Temple. He's well on his way to another 100-yard day.
This was something that we knew Edinboro was susceptible to big play, already giving up 13 plays of 30 yards or more over their first 4 games. So IUP doing a very nice job of taking advantage of that, but Temple right now having a huge game already at 99 yards on 10 carries and 3 touchdowns.
28-yard run for Chris Temple. He'll get it again. Jump cut in the hole, and then is tackled on the play there. Armani Davis made the tackle. He's been active as a defensive end. Or Josh Kibbe. That was Josh Kibbe who made the tackle, and Principali is down. Don Principali wobbles off the field and maybe got his ankle rolled up on, and that carry does give Chris Temple 100 yards on the day already. 11 carries, 100 yards for Chris Temple. He's got a 9.1 yards per carry average and 3 touchdowns.
We look at Temple last season, he finished the season very strong in terms of 3 out of the last 4 games with 100 yards. And now here he is looking already with his 2nd game of the season of which he's gone over 100 yards.
2nd down and 6 for the Crimson Hawks. 11:30 and counting here in the 2nd quarter. Temple tries to break a tackle, and if he would have cut it inside, Eric, I think Chris Temple had himself a touchdown. He cut outside instead.
Yeah, he cut it outside. He read the block and bounced it outside, but you're right. If he makes that cut upfield at about the 10-yard line, he looks like he's got some wide open space and able to go in and score right there, but that's okay. But nice job downfield blocking again by Swanee Brown. Nice job by the IUP wide receivers getting downfield and holding their blocks.
Temple with 3 touchdown runs already. Gets it again. Edinboro is there to make the play. James Wilson Jr. made the tackle for the Fighting Scots along their defensive line.
Now this is where you look for Lenny Williams. What can he do with his legs? This is where he becomes very dangerous. That short passing game, but he's also a very good decision maker.
IUP averaging 8 yards per play. Temple right up the gut, takes it into the end zone. 4th rushing touchdown for Chris Temple, and this is getting ugly at George P. Miller Stadium, 27-0 in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, right now offensively, IUP making it look easy with the run game. You can see Temple gets into the end zone basically untouched for his 4th score of this football game already, and there's still 10.5 minutes left to go in the 2nd quarter.
Stu trying to attempt this extra point, and he nails it. 28-0. IUP rolling on homecoming. We'll be back on IUP TV.
Ever since I can remember, I have loved theater and I have loved acting. I also have a passion for working with kids with special needs. Indiana University of Pennsylvania helped make both of my dreams come true. I'm Trisha Ray Stahl. I'm a 1998 graduate of IUP, and I'm a working actress. I have a recurring role on Fox Television's Glee, and I also work with kids with special needs. IUP, find your success.
We have a job to do out here today.
To be a winning team, you have to work like a winning team.
My team depends on me.
And my team is 50,000 strong.
We're
looks like a lot of work's going into this.
This is what it feels like to be part of a team.
A winning team.
The Action Team.
Get in on the action at actionteam.org. Are you in?
It's 28-0 here as Chris Temple's earned his 4th rushing touchdown of the day, a 5-play, 49-yard drive for the IUP Crimson Hawks. They're up 28-0. Sean Bowling sends it away, and Massey will have a chance to return it from his 8. Massey tries to duck a man and then is hit hard. And Eric, IUP, loves homecoming, especially under head coach Kurt Signetti, and they have been tremendous in homecoming games throughout the Kurt Signetti era.
Yeah, you can see 4-0 under Signetti here at home. And look at last year, Walt Pegues, that 96-yard school record punt return for a touchdown. But Signetti, you win homecoming, you build consistency, and you can see that's what IUP is moving towards after going 6-5 a season ago. And see if they can move to 5-0 under Coach Signetti here at IUP at homecoming.
You see, 2011, they were able to pick up a victory over Edinboro in homecoming as well. They hand off to Massey, and Massey got folded up awkwardly, and he is hurt. He grabbed his leg immediately. Steve Franco kind of hit him low and folded him up, and the training staff's going to have to come out and look at Darren Massey. That could have been a knee or something there. Take a look at how his leg folds up here. Oh, that is not the way your leg's supposed to bend.
He gets his leg caught up on the turf, and you hate to see that leg get stuck like that, but he's able to walk off the field under his own power. You certainly don't want to speculate in a situation like that.
It's incredible he's walking off the field, because that looked real ugly to me. As Massey walks off the field, I want to make the point, Chris Temple, 4 touchdowns on the day. Last time a player had 4 or more touchdowns in a game was in last year's homecoming for the IUP Crimson Hawks, when Darian Bradley took in 4 touchdowns against the Seton Hill Griffins. So must be something about homecoming that gets these IUP running backs riled up. Massey's still walking off the field. He's almost to the sideline. That's a big loss for the Fighting Scots, who haven't been able to get anything going offensively. They lose one of their mainstays in the receiving corps, so it's up to Sean Rolick, Alex Caratelli, Connor Hullenbach, and the rest of the Fighting Scots to pick up their teammate. 2nd down and long. Sisson throws to the right. It's complete, but Aquino Robertson is there to make the play on Sean Rolick.
A nice play by Robertson on that one-on-one coverage on the outside. And you can see Edinboro doesn't really want to throw the football downfield. They're still going with these short, quick outs. But at some point, they're going to have to move the football downfield in chunks if they're going to come back here. You're down 4 scores. You need to cut this lead to at least, you want to try to get it down to a 2-possession game by halftime.
9:20 to go in the 2nd quarter with a winding clock. 28-0 IUP on top. Edinboro tried to set up a screen, but the IUP defensive line forced the pressure and tipped the ball away. Jordan Batts made the play. He's had a nice year for IUP, an underrated asset to that IUP defensive line.
Yeah, he comes in, and a very nice job as well by Averett, reading the screen, getting his hands up and blocking the ball, blocking the pass from Sisson. But even if that pass had been completed, there wasn't much there. IUP had a couple defenders waiting, so nice job defensively in terms of reading the screen.
Austin Reese punts it. Pegues had to pick it up, and I don't know how smart of a decision that was. He got hit quickly, and IUP will come out with the football again, and they'll send in quarterback Chase Hazlitt with the offensive unit. We'll see Chase for the first time today. Hazlitt, the transfer from Illinois, here on homecoming.
Yeah, and you look at Williams Day offensively, very nice, 6 of 7 for 54 yards, and then on the ground 4 carries for 53 yards, average of over 13 yards per carry. And now let's see if at all how the offense changes with Hazlitt in the football game.
Play action pass, Hazlitt fires and completes it to Pegues, and a nice play call by the IUP offense. Running the ball so well, they work play action, and Mitch Thomas is there to make the tackle. Thomas, the freshman, 5'11", 170, stops Pegues.
And a nice throw by Hazlitt. You can see the arm strength here. Nice throw, but he had Sean McVay running down the seam wide open. If he was able to connect, that would have been 7 more points.
Drew Harris churns forward. Some nice running by Drew Harris. He's a hard-nosed runner, and boy, he can really force the issue there for a defense with a big body, and he's got some power.
Yeah, already the 5th person with a rushing attempt for IUP, and Harris himself has a 100-yard game to his credit earlier this year. Shows again that balance of the IUP run attack.
It's a homecoming day here at IUP. We're approaching the 8-minute mark of the second quarter. Crimson Hawks are all over Edinboro right now, and they're going to add to it with a nice run by Drew Harris. And Harris is tackled by Gabe Tillman.
Tillman's a nice story, Josh. He's a transfer from Lackawanna Community College, and he got injured in the first game of the season for Edinboro against St. Joseph and missed his next 2 games. Came back last week with 16 tackles. He's also an Army vet as well, so a little older and offers a different perspective to that Edinboro defense.
That's a phenomenal story. Harris cuts and runs forward and picks up another IUP first down. Boy, the Crimson Hawks are just dominating on the offensive side. They averaged 8.5 yards per play before that first down run, and you have to think that average will tick up a couple of notches after a 10-yard gain.
And after that rush there, you're looking at 210 yards of rush offense already for IUP.
One of the best running offenses in the entire nation, as advertised here today, but Edinboro's up to the task on that play. Devon Groves was there to force the issue. The defensive line clogged it up and won the line of scrimmage. Just to update the situation, Merganti, who is normally the right guard, is out after being injured earlier this game. Ethan Cooper is now in at right guard. Crimson Hawks shuffling along the offensive line here. Shannon Jackson that time on the carry, tackled by Groves, and Jackson takes it down inside the 5-yard line. Crimson Hawks are knocking on the door once again.
Edinboro coming into this game defensively allowed on average 218 rushing yards, and with that carry there by Jackson, IUP is now up to 217 for the day.
Inside there for the Crimson Hawks, it's Shannon Jackson again, and Groves was there with Ricky Bailey to make the tackle. Crimson Hawks are closing in, and they're going to send in Chris Temple, who's trying to get touchdown number 5 on the day.
He's got 1.5 yards to go. But with the way that the blocking thus far has been for IUP, look for Temple to punch it in for number 5 already on the afternoon.
First and goal. Here is Temple, and he's stopped just short of the end zone. James Wilson made the tackle. Now 2nd down and goal for the Crimson Hawks.
Okay, Steelers or Pittsburgh? Okay, let's go. Hey, go Trip. Hey, Trip's right.
If you're IUP right here, you just keep running the football. I mean, why not? You've had a great amount of success thus far. You got about a 1/2 yard to go. And Hazlitt doesn't have the running ability that Williams does.
Here's Temple again, and boy, did that play get blown up there. And Josh Kibbe made a tremendous play on the defensive line, blowing up the block and stopping Temple in the backfield.
A nice job by Kibbe. He comes in untouched. And once he gets his big frame around Temple, he's going down. Kibbe 6'2", 285. Temple 5'11", 220. So both pretty big guys.
Yeah. Now it's 3rd down and goal for IUP. Give credit to Edinboro stopping the Crimson Hawks they were at the 1 and they forced them back. We'll see if they can make a play here on 3rd down and try to get a win. Hazlitt will throw, and it's intercepted. He didn't read the linebacker, and making that interception, that's number 56, Anthony Principali, the brother of Dom. And boy, it seemed like Hazlitt didn't even see where he was going.
No, he did not see Principali. Quick 3-step drop, and he's there trying to get the ball into McVeigh, and Principali steps in and makes the interception. Nice recognition by Principali.
Crimson Hawks have done a good job not turning the football over, but Hazlitt throws his first interception of the season. Edinboro has the football back. No room to run for the Fighting Scots. IUP trying to work some different players in with Miles Catlin, DeAndre Easterling, Nick Dubowski, Ron Womack, and others. And Darren Massey is back in the football game for the Fighting Scots. He is in the huddle.
And that's good to see. You don't want to see anybody go down with an injury. And Massey, he's a very talented receiver. He's 3rd in Division II in terms of receptions per game at over 9 per game. So look for him to continue to get the football.
Massey had 13 catches in week number 1 against St. Joseph's. Quick pass is complete to Hollenbeck. Connor Hollenbeck makes the reception on the slant route, and he's tackled on the play by Chris David.
What makes it difficult for Edinboro offensively is IUP doesn't have to really respect that deep threat, so they're able to load the box up and stop the run, do some press coverage on the outside receivers, and really that's all that Edinboro can do is throw those 5 to 6 yard passes and hope that somebody can make a play or slip a tackle and get downfield.
3rd down and 6 for the Fighting Scots. We're approaching the 3-minute mark of the first half of play on IUP homecoming. Sisson has a man deep, throws, and it's through the hands with a flag down. And man, oh day, did Alex Caratelli have a chance to take it to the house. Couple of flags down on the play.
And Franco was alone in one-on-one coverage going up the field with Caratelli. But give Sisson credit. He recognized that matchup.
Two fouls on the defense. We had roughing the passer, number 6. That's decline. Pass interference, number 5. 15 yards from previous spot, automatic first.
So 2 penalties on the IUP defense, and you said, Eric, and I agree with you, it was a nice job by Sisson to recognize the one-on-one and put a really nice pass, good touch on the ball to his receiver. Pass interference penalty gives Edinboro a 1st down, but still it could have been a lot more yardage if Caratelli holds on to the football. Another 5-wide set. Sisson looks left all the way and fires complete, and this time it's Alex Caratelli making the reception, and he's right near that 1st down marker. We'll see if they do move the chains. I think they will, and indeed they will. 1st down for the Fighting Scots.
Back-to-back throws going to Caratelli. Able to hold on to this one and get a 1st down. Edinboro's 3rd 1st down of this first half.
1st and 10 here with 2:40 to go in the first half of play. Edinboro with one of their best drives of the day right now. Empty backfield set, quick throw over the middle is incomplete. Jay Watkins had coverage of Sean Rolick, who tried to gain separation over the middle.
Yeah, Watkins did a nice job closing in coverage. Rolick wasn't quite able to come down with the catch, and then Watkins put on the hit, and that was able to knock the ball out of his hands.
2nd down and 10. Another 5-wide set here for Jake Sisson and the Edinboro offense. Looking for their first touchdown of the game. Hard count. Sisson looking to the left. Throwing deep once again, and it is intercepted. Allen Wright has such a knack of making plays on the football. Flag down on the far side of the field.
Yeah, hard count by Sisson, drew IUP offsides.
So it was a free play. By Sisson. Yes.
Defense, number 85, 5-yard penalty, second down.
You can throw that one in the category of what could have been, because that would have been another highlight reel play for Allen Wright. 2 weeks ago against Lockhaven, Kyle and I had the call for that one, Eric. Allen Wright made a play where he tipped the ball, was falling to the ground, reached up and pulled it in and made just a tremendous interception. So a good athlete for the IUP defenses is Mr. Allen Wright.
A very dynamic athlete at that corner position. Offers a lot of versatility for that defensive secondary.
Second down for Edinboro. Sisson really didn't have anywhere to go. Nobody was open. There were a few receivers in the area, but Ron Womack had the best play of anybody.
Yeah, nice job by Womack. You read the eyes of Sisson, dropped back in coverage, and stuck out that big left arm and able to knock down the pass.
Third down and 5. We're at 2:06 remaining in the first half. This first half has been dominated by the IUP Crimson Hawks, and they've got 4 touchdowns, all rushing touchdowns for Chris Temple. Third down for Edinboro. Sisson looking to throw once again, goes deep. Massey is there, and he hauls it in back shoulder. Tremendous adjustment to the football, and a big pass play for the Fighting Scots.
Nice throw by Sisson up the sideline, gave Massey enough room where he could adjust and control his body and come back and make that catch. Beats Womack in one-on-one coverage. Now Edinboro, hey, you look to move here towards the close of the first half. You get a score, you get some momentum, carry you into the second half.
31-yard pass play from Jake Sisson to Darren Massey. And now they have it near the red zone with a pistol set and a 1st and 10. Handoff to Evelard, and Evelard is chopped down by Takai Turner. But Edinboro again trying to establish that run. That's something they said they wanted to do coming in. Time ticking down here. We're at 1:20 in the first half and a 28-0 game. So Edinboro needs to move along here.
Yeah, they have enough time to still run their offense. They still have their timeouts, 2 of their timeouts left. And now let's see if Sisson can just play mistake-free football here in the red zone.
2nd and 7. Massey comes in motion, and they hand it to Evelard up the middle. Evelard does a nice job to break a tackle and pick up a first down. Miles Catlin was the man who finally made the play on Jamal Evelard.
Nice job with the misdirection. Massey coming in motion right before the snap and hand it off to Evelard. Nice job, cuts up field. Able to get a first down for Edinboro at the 4, and now you're looking at a 1st and goal situation. 40 seconds left to go in the half. Plenty of time for Edinboro. The offensive playbook is all wide open at this point.
They've done a nice job of mixing it up, running the football and passing the football also to get down the field here on this drive so far. That was a 9-yard run for Evelard. Sisson is swallowed up and dropped. DeAndre Easterling is a man among boys out there, and this guy's just a freshman. What a bright future for DeAndre Easterling. He's played well all season long.
Yeah, nice job by Easterling. He recognized the bootleg, comes in, but if you're Sisson, you've got to get rid of that football. You can't take a sack in that situation. You just lost 10 yards off of that bootleg, and that's the danger. He tried to go to his tight end, Helmick, in the end zone, but IUP had it well covered.
15 seconds, less than a half. 15 seconds.
They'll reset the game clock here with a timeout on the field. We're going to keep it here for now. Here, 15 seconds left in the first half. It's 28-0, and we do want to remind you that at halftime we'll be sending it down to Brandon Norfleet, who will pick up the audio of head coach Kurt Signetti as he gives his halftime interview. Then Brandon will have an opportunity to speak with head coach on the Edinboro side of things, Scott Browning. He'll talk to him, come back and tell us what Scott Browning told his team in the locker room heading into the second half. The message will probably be varied depending on what Edinboro does on this drive. If they're able to tack on some points, they'll go into the locker room obviously feeling a lot better than they would be if they don't score in this drive.
Sure, but I'm sure that Coach Browning is going to talk a lot about the mistakes that Edinboro has made in the first half. And now you look at the mistake that Sisson just made, taking that sack. It really limits your play calling now to really the pass game itself only. You have to try to punch it in from 14 yards out, 15 seconds left, and only one timeout.
We'll also have a look at scores from around the PSAC and much more on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network halftime report. But right now there's 15 seconds to go. Quarterback keeper for Sisson, and he is down near the 5. And an interesting play call. Edinboro has to burn another timeout here with 10 seconds to go. Nice play call by Edinboro. I don't know if the Crimson Hawks were expecting that one.
Yeah, nice job. Sisson able to get upfield quickly. He picks up basically the yardage that he lost on the sack. And now with 10 seconds left, if you're Edinboro, you're not going to run the football here, obviously, because if you don't get into the end zone, the clock's going to run out. You're not going to get a chance to kick that field goal. So look for a quick pass, maybe another bootleg type action, some play action, looking for the tight end cutting across the middle of the end zone. But expect a pass here from Sisson on 3rd and goal from the 5.
During this timeout, I do just want to recap some statistics here in the first half. These are about as close to final as they're going to get, and probably our final first half stats for IUP. Lenny Williams, 6 of 7. 54 yards passing. He's been very efficient here today. Walt Pegues has 5 of the 6 receptions there. 5 for 60 for Walt Pegues. Chris Stemple's already got 114 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns here in the first half, so he has the potential to have a record-breaking type of day as far as touchdowns are concerned, because 4 touchdowns in the first half, we still got a whole nother half of football to play for the IUP Crimson Hawks. And now IUP will take a timeout. So as the Crimson Hawks take a timeout, let's take one with them and step out for 30. Come back with the conclusion of this drive here. 10 seconds to go in the first half. We'll be back on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network.
I did everything right. I went to college, graduated with honors, but I'm just not getting to where I want to be. I need to get to the next level. What am I missing? Where are these people going? What do they have that I don't? How do I get that edge, that hands-on experience that will put me ahead of the competition? Graduate school at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Welcome back to the Crimson Hawks Sports Network, and as these teams come out on the field, would like to thank all the hardworking men and women behind the scenes here on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network, the IUP Center for Media Production and Research, Director Najee Poles. And we'd also like to say hello to Barry Day, who let us know he's tuning in from Austria. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast, Barry. 10 seconds to go, 3rd down and 5 for the Fighting Scots. It's a pistol set. Sisson looks left, has Massey on the fade route, and Massey makes an incredible catch, but he's out of bounds. Boy, he was able to haul it in with one hand, and you can see that play developing from up here. You could just see Massey kind of sneak and find an open seam, but out of bounds. Pretty good effort by Edinboro's receiver.
Yeah, they brought him in motion, set up that one-on-one matchup. Nice job by Turner. Pushes Massey out of bounds, but a really nice one-handed catch, as you alluded to, by Massey. He's a very talented receiver. I mean, he is 4th all-time on the Edinboro reception list, and only 17 receptions behind 1st place coming into today's action.
4th and 5, so one more play to go here in the first half for the Fighting Scots. We'll see if they're able to tack on a touchdown. This will be a big play for both teams here heading into the half. Fires, it's incomplete. The IUP defense makes the stand. That's the end of the first half, and what a first half. The Crimson Hawks come home and take it to Edinboro. It's 28-0. We'll step out here with an interview from head coach Kurt Signetti, so we'll send it down to the field.
Right. It would be very easy to come into a game like this with less than that. How did you manage to overcome that?
That's not us, because this team takes care of business. After the Kutztown game, we learned our lessons. We improved through learning and repetition, and the focus has been really good. That's what we've been preaching, one play at a time, focused in on the present moment. And but I did not like the way we finished the half.
Let me take you to another thing. Forgive me for my misuse of phrases here, but I'm calling what a read option style of offense from time to time with Lenny Williams. It's a rare quarterback to be able to execute that well. He's done it extremely well. How would you explain the excellence we've had in that so far?
I think we've had success running the ball today. Lenny's had some, we got a couple plays where he could give it or pull it, and we've had some yards, doing that. And, in the first half it worked.
What's the difference this year with the defensive secondary? They seem to have a sense for the ball no matter where it's going.
Well, we got two key guys back, Eric Williams and Dorian Lane, that are leaders, and all the young guys have grown up a little bit another year, and our defensive line is more dominant, creating more pressure on the quarterback. So it's a combination of those factors. Thank you.
Is halftime. We'll be back on IUP TV with the second half of play. It's 28-0 on a homecoming day, and what a day it's been so far. We'll be back right after this.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
I decided to come to IUP because I did an open house here, and everybody was just so nice, and they basically welcomed me as if I was already a student, and I just love that.
I chose IUP after doing research into a couple different culinary schools, and the hands-on approach taken here at the school, as well as the great externship offers, really made me decide on coming here.
Our mission here at IUP Academy of Culinary Arts is to train culinarians with the skill and the knowledge to become chefs, pastry chefs, and managers and food and beverage directors.
The faculty is awesome. I have gotten to know each one of them very well, and I consider each one of them my friends.
I think the faculty provides excellent instruction. Everything is very thorough, very in-depth.
The faculty here at IUP are really, really strong. They're outstanding chefs and real outstanding instructors and faculty. They come here and they don't leave here usually unless they're going to retire. The strengths of our faculty have that industry experience combined with their delivery of education.
They truly do care how far you go, and they want every one of us to succeed.
The small class sizes I believe it benefits the students because we're actually doing all the work. We're watching the chefs do it, we're learning how to do it, and then we're actually making everything.
The program is preparing me each day for what I should expect in the industry.
Our externship is at the end of our programs, and the reason for that is that the employers and the student can make a decision to stay on for permanent employment. The students have to research where they want to go. It's not just, and they find the placement. We're not just putting them out there. The chefs and the human resource people that come here to IUP to hire and interview our students are coming from some of the best resorts and properties in the world, not just in the nation.
I did my externship at Vanilla Pastry Studio in Regent Square, Pittsburgh. After I had completed my externship, I was offered a full-time position, and I am still currently working there.
Coming here to IUP made me look at food differently. It made me appreciate food a lot more.
Our students are focused, they're motivated, they're self-disciplined, they're passionate about what they're doing. We want our students to eat, think, sleep food 24 hours a day while they're here.
It definitely surpassed my expectations, and I'm really glad I came, and I can honestly say that I love this industry and that IUP prepared me for it.
Hello, IUP. We're here on the sidelines with the head coach of Edinboro, Scott Browning. I just wanted to ask you a couple questions. My first question is, what was your message to the guys at halftime?
Hey, we've got to continue to compete. You know, we've got 30 minutes, and, you know, we've scored 28 points in a half before, and there's nothing says we can't do it today.
What adjustments are you going to do in the second half?
Oh, you know, we got to do a lot of the things that we've done. The bottom line is we got to play better fundamental football. We got to tackle, we got to block, and we got to hold on to the football.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Coach. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Good job.
Back to you up in the box, Josh.
Thank you very much to our sideline correspondent, Brandon Norfleet. Tremendous sideline interview with head coach Scott Browning of the Edinboro Fighting Scots. Brandon Norfleet's got to work his way across the field here before he gets run over by the kicking team of the IUP Crimson Hawks. But Brandon will also be down getting an interview with head coach Kurt Signetti at the end of the game. So that is some good stuff. And Eric, you hear the message. Scott Browning, no reason why Edinboro can't score 28 points in the second half. They've done it before. The IUP Crimson Hawks have to be aware of that. And as we get set to kick things off, let's go over some halftime stats for both teams.
Yeah, just like the score, the first half stats, pretty lopsided. First downs 18-6 IUP, 217 rushing yards on 30 attempts for IUP compared to just 3 rushing yards for Edinboro. And through the air, IUP 73 yards, Edinboro 63.
So we're underway in the second half of play. Here's Darren Massey trying to make something happen, reverses his field, and then is chopped down, and Edinboro will be backed up to begin the second half, but they'll be backed up in a drive that they need to get something going. IUP made a 4th down stop at the end of the first half to keep Edinboro off the scoreboard. We'll see if they're able to get onto the scoreboard here in the second half of play.
Yeah, Sisson 9 of 16 in the first half for 63 yards, but he also took 3 sacks as well, including and he also had that lost fumble. So a slow start to him. Let's see what Sisson can do in the second half, down 4 scores.
Sisson turns and keeps it and throws complete to his wide receiver, Colin Hollenbeck. And Hollenbeck is ridden out of bounds, but nice start to the second half for Edinboro, picking up a 1st down, moving the chains here.
A nice easy throw from Sisson to Hollenbeck. Able to get upfield, get a 1st down, build some momentum. And you look at Edinboro, they're probably going to have to put the football in the air 20 to 25 times this half. The run game really is going to be obsolete here over the final 30 minutes.
It's a cold, it's a blustery, it's a windy day at George P. Miller Stadium, but the players are out there putting in work nonetheless, and that's a nice run by Corey Bell. Dorian Lane is there to end that threat as he made the tackle, and Edinboro needs to come out inspired here in the second half to try to call back into it.
He looked last week when Edinboro was at Cal, they were actually down 30-9 at one point in that football game and came all the way back, scored 21 points and got back within 37-30 and had a chance to tie it with 5 minutes left before an interception near the goal line. So this is a team that is capable of putting up points.
Play action pass, and Sisson is dropped by Kevin Clark. Kevin Clark is there to make the play, and Sisson goes down. Nice play by the IUP defense.
Yeah, Clark picking up a sack, the 4th sack of the day for the IUP defense. And now that sets up a 3rd down, what was going to be a 3rd and 2, approximately now because of that sack is a 3rd and 9. And this allows IUP defensively to just go after the quarterback and drop coverage.
3rd down and long for Edinboro. Sisson looking to throw, closing down, and there's another sack for the IUP defense. These boys are just dominating the line of scrimmage, and Jake Sisson's had a long day so far, Eric.
Yeah, Sisson's really rough day. It's the 5th sack already. Batts does a nice job, goes around that right side, able to get around, tackle RJ Hughes, come in and get that hit, and now Edinboro forced again to punt the football from near their own end zone.
Not the ideal start to the second half that the Fighting Scots wanted. There's a low line drive kick, and look at this bounce that it takes, but Pegues will play it off the hop. Pegues has space down the far side. Pegues is dropped at the 20, and man oh day, we've got a late flag here. A couple of guys battling on the near side of the field away from the play. Diamond Jones mixing it up with Connor Strange, and there is a flag down, so we'll see what the officials call. Both guys going at it. Nice return by Pegues.
It looks like that call was made after the whistle, so it'll probably be a dead ball foul, move the football back 15 yards if it is indeed on IUP.
On the return, personal foul, number 83 of the kicking team. Penalty's half the distance, first down.
And Connor Strange picks up the penalty, half the distance, and the Crimson Hawks are in a great position to start the second half. Back-to-back sacks for IUP, the big return by Pegues and the penalty, and you look at things, IUP's got the ball at the 10.
Yeah, it's just nothing gone right today for Edinboro. They fell behind early. Now they're committing penalties out of frustration. And now IUP set up first down and 10, and Williams back into this football game at quarterback.
Damn it. Williams throws this intercepted, and that's a house call for Mitch Thomas. Nobody near him. Down he goes, 20, 10, 5, touchdown Fighting Scots, and Edinboro's on the board with an 88-yard interception return. Touchdown Fighting Scots.
Nice recognition by Thomas. Williams trying to find Pegues on that quick pass. Thomas read it all the way, stepped in front of Pegues, and then it was gone to the house. There was nobody back for IUP that was going to catch Thomas, and he goes down for Edinboro. Look, that's the big play you might need to get back into this football game. And nice job, again, nice job by Thomas reading that quick pass game by Williams. Steps in and makes the pick.
Second interception today for the IUP quarterbacks. Austin Reese on to attempt the extra point. Sisson will hold, and Reese nails it. Edinboro's on the board for the first time today. We'll be back on IUP TV with coverage of Homecoming 2015.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
To compete for a championship in stadiums full with cheering fans and families. To give back. To say thank you for your support. To learn, grow, and prepare for the future. Ask any NCAA student athlete what they want, and this is what they'll tell you. Ask these student athletes, and they'll say with pride, I chose Division II.
There goes the shutout for the IUP Crimson Hawks. The Edinboro offense hasn't scored a touchdown, but the Edinboro defense strikes with an 88-yard interception return by Mitch Thomas.
Austin Reese will kick off.
Austin Reese set to send it away for the Fighting Scots. And there it goes. Watkins will have a chance to return it from about a yard deep in his own end zone. Tries to pick up a block, has space, and is tackled just shy of the 25-yard line. So back to Lenny Williams, just kind of a misread, stare down his receiver, things like that happen, but obviously want to eliminate those types of mistakes moving forward for the Crimson Hawks.
Well, you got to give credit to defensive back Mitch Thomas. Nice recognition by him as well, taking that interception back. And IUP, now you wonder, do they go back to Chris Temple on the ground? Already over 100 yards for the day, over 200 yards in total for the IUP rush offense in the first half. Let's see if they just pound the football.
Here's Chris Temple. He's stopped short. Josh Kibbe made the tackle for the Fighting Scots, and one of the few times that Temple's been contained here today.
Kibbe's having himself a very nice football game for Edinboro this afternoon. He's made some big plays, big nose guard, getting in there and disrupting the offense.
Temple once again, this time he's got a little bit more space to run. Late flag comes in, and we'll hear from Joseph Gebhardt again here today with a penalty.
59 offense. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Stop torpedo here, coach.
Holding penalty against the Crimson Hawks. It's the 5th penalty of the day for IUP, and they're moving backwards here now inside the 15-yard line.
You look at from the Edinboro perspective, you've got IUP backed up 2nd and 20 from their own 14. If you can force a punt here, you get the football back, continue to build on that momentum.
Williams looking to throw. Nice catch made by Pegues. He slips a tackle and then is dropped by Principali. And pretty nice athletic play by Walt Pegues to contort his body and make a catch.
Yeah, Pegues does a nice job there in the open field, picking up 9, so basically picking up the yardage that they lost on the holding penalty. And now you set up a 3rd down and 11 situation, and let's see what Williams does here. Let's see if he takes that right arm of his and puts the football downfield, because so far today it's been a very short passing game.
3rd down and long for the IUP Crimson Hawks. Quarterback draw for Lenny Williams. Williams past midfield and is dropped inside the 40. What a play call by the IUP offense. Lenny Williams burst his way into Edinboro territory.
Nice job by Williams here on the quarterback keeper, designed keeper all the way. Middle of the field is wide open. He's able to use that speed and vision, get upfield before finally being brought down inside the 40 of Edinboro.
It's a 39-yard run for Lenny Williams on the quarterback draw. 3rd down nonetheless too. Temple strung out and is able to make something of nothing. He got to the line of scrimmage and really had nowhere to go. So nice play by Chris Temple.
A nice elusiveness by Temple, that big 220-pound frame, able to fight off tacklers and get back to that line of scrimmage. And that's a big momentum breaker there for Edinboro. 3rd and 11, and then you give that big run play up to Lenny Williams.
Another handoff to Temple, but Edinboro up to the task once again. Armani Davis closed in and made the tackle. The graduate student has been active here so far for Edinboro.
You know, Edinboro finds itself defensively in another favorable situation, 3rd down and 9. And now this is where Williams is so dangerous. We just saw it on the last 3rd down with his legs. He can make people miss. Let's see what they do if they keep it in the air or keep it on the ground.
3rd down and long for IUP. Williams over the middle, has a man to Pegues, slips a man and picks up a 1st down. Pegues just sat in the zone. Williams found him and delivered a nice strike right to him.
Yeah, he was going to Pegues the whole way. Pegues finds a nice soft spot in that zone, able to set up shop. Williams, nice, solid, confident throw. Finds Pegues and another 1st down.
Another 2 tight end set. Kevin Edwards almost as an H-back in the football game right now for IUP. And they work the zone read to Williams. Williams cuts outside, and he's going to take it to the house with a flag down. Referee got taken down on the play, but a flag down at the 11.
It looks like they're going to get a hold, possibly on Pegues on the outside.
Hold. 34 of the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
And that will negate a touchdown here. There's
and you can
Pegues.
see,
yep,
right there, grab the right shoulder, pull on the jersey there. Nice downfield blocking up until that point by Pegues.
So it'll be 1st down and long for IUP. Taking 10 yards from the spot of the foul will make it 1st and 11, 1st and 12 or so. board has 1st and 20, and then it resets here. So 2 receivers to the wide side of the field for the Crimson Hawks. Williams going to put the ball, looks short side, throws complete to Kevin Edwards. And an interesting play call. IUP looking to the short side of the field and using a guy that's not used much in the pass game, Kevin Edwards, and it pays off for IUP. Get nice play on 1st down.
Well, it's important for IUP as well to be able to throw out of that 2 tight end set so that the defense isn't completely expecting a run when the 2 tight ends are in the game.
Here's Temple in the middle. Temple brought down near that 1st down marker, and he will pick up a 1st down. Chris Temple already over 100 yards on the day, trying to get that all-elusive 5th touchdown, though. Here's Temple once again, and he's stood up. Nice little scrum there. Edinboro stout defensively. Anthony Principali made the tackle. He had the big interception of Chase Haslett earlier in the 1st half.
Yeah, he's been playing well really the entire football game on the defensive side for Edinboro. Now you look at it, 2nd down, about 5, 2nd down and goal from the 5-yard line. Do they keep the football here on the ground with Temple, or do they let Williams throw again?
They do hand it to Temple. Temple's got nowhere to go. Austin Meats made the tackle, brought him down from behind. And IUP's got a 3rd down to deal with here, 4-yard line. And Eric, one thing that always is an issue down here in the red zone is things become a lot more compacted as far as trying to throw the football. So not a lot of options to throw the football down here in the red zone.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's another reason why Williams becomes so valuable, because of those legs.
They'll go with a quick fade, and it's incomplete. Flag down on the play. There's all sorts of flags. Mitch Thomas matched up with Swanique Brown. Didn't seem like the greatest throw in the world from Lenny Williams, but he put it in a position that his receiver and only his receiver could get it.
Pass interference. Defense, number 1. Foul occurred in the end zone. The ball be placed at the 2-yard line. 1st down.
There's a look at exactly. So IUP has another chance to punch it in here to the end zone. It's Temple in the middle. Temple going to be stopped just short. Boy, he is stopped just short of the end zone. Good work by Edinboro, and they've done a nice job at limiting the IUP rushing attack. They were really gashing the Fighting Scots. IUP was early on in this game.
And Temple staying in there in the football game. So let's see if he gets it again or if Williams keeps it on the zone read.
Temple again. Temple is in. Number 5. Touchdown, Crimson Hawks. IUP has run the football tremendously, and Chris Temple has really led the charge here today for IUP.
Yeah, Temple, very nice afternoon. You look at now 130 yards, 124 yards on 24 carries to go along with those 5 touchdowns, an average of over 5 yards per carry, so a consistent day for Temple at the office, his 2nd 100-yard performance of the young season.
Stu got some pushing and shoving late, but the extra point is good. And IUP strikes here in the 2nd half, 35-7. We'll be back on homecoming.
All your professors, all of them, they know that all it takes is one dreamer with passion, one person, and they hope in each of you that you might be that one. Who makes a longer lasting light bulb, who writes music for the ages, who reaches into the mind and discovers a new star and who can change the world of a 5th grader. We're gathered here to hope in you.
Cause nothing ever gonna make this world better if we don't start believing that Love really, really, really is the answer. Everybody join hands, 'cause it's time now. Spread the love all over the world. Spread it all over the world.
A big pass interference gave IUP the football at the 1, and Chris Temple did the rest. 12 plays, 76-yard drive to give IUP a 35-7 lead. Kick is received by Massey, and Massey has some space up the middle of the field, spins past one line of defense, and then is still pushing, but forward progress will stop him at about the 26. Flag down on the play.
There's a flag right in the middle, right behind Allen.
Wait, Massey's a really tough runner, isn't he, Josh?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, for his frame especially, he's not the biggest guy. You know, he's only 6 foot 191, but he really can move that pile.
And he did. They marked him. Forward progress was stopped, but we'll see the flag.
Personal foul, number 51 of the kicking team. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
So Edinboro will get some pretty good field position to start. Josh Hill, Eric Cormos, Brandon Norfleet join you here at George P. Miller Stadium. I'd like to thank all of the hardworking men and women on our crew here on the Crimson Hawk Sports Network. We're live in over 43 countries. It's a worldwide audience here, and hope wherever you're watching the broadcast, it's a little bit warmer than it is here at Miller Stadium, but that's only my hope. Bell has the football for Edinboro, and he is absolutely decked by Steve Franco. Edinboro still trying to work that run game, and you can't abandon the run, even down 4 scores.
Well, they haven't had much luck with the pass either. Sisson struggling from that quarterback position. He's a young guy, sophomore quarterback. You know, 10 of 17 for the day for 76 yards, but he's also taken 5 sacks and lost a fumble.
2nd and 6, and Sisson will work a play action, break a tackle, and then is not able to go much further. So he broke the tackle of Karan Gibson, but then the rest of his friends were there to clean up the mess. And Sisson has taken a couple of big hits here, of course, with the IUP pass rush, and then he's had a couple keeps as well.
A nice job by Gibson coming off the end. Even though Sisson is able to break that tackle, Gibson did a very nice job of getting Sisson to slow down and allowed for that rest of that Crimson Hawk defense to get over and make the tackle. And now you're looking at another 3rd and more than 5 situation for Edinboro.
Sisson play action, he pump fake, and then he's going to go deep. Has a man, it's complete. Alex Caratelli made the reception, and it was a little double move play. You saw the subtle pump fake, and Caratelli is able to haul on to this one. That's a big pass play for Edinboro.
We've seen Caratelli has some big playability. That's his 5th catch of the afternoon for 53 yards. And a nice throw by Sisson. He took a hit, stood in the pocket, and delivered the football. Caratelli, nice job getting underneath it and pulling it in.
It's a 39-yard reception for Alex Caratelli. Edinboro has it 1st and 10. Handoff to Bell. Bell with some space up the middle. Breaks a tackle and then is down near the 5. Nice running by Corey Bell. The junior tailback was able to break a couple of tackles and churn forward for an Edinboro 1st down.
Yeah, to that pistol formation. Nice job by Bell. Able to break through the tackle of Franco and Williams coming up from their safety positions before going down inside the 5-yard line. Edinboro, hey, you score here. You still have about 16, 17 minutes of football left. It's not out of the realm of possibility that you come back and put yourself in a situation to tie this football game.
It's one drive at a time, and Williams is going to check out of the game. He didn't really wrap his arms on that tackle. He tried to go put the shoulder into Bell. Bell absorbed the contact and kept on trucking. Edinboro has a 1st and goal here from the 5-yard line. Sisson in the pistol, slot formation to the right. Keep an eye on Darren Massey, who's coming in motion from near to far right now. Sisson will take the snap, quick pass, and it is incomplete. Caratelli hauled it in, couldn't get the foot down, and we had a great view from up here.
Yeah, Sisson tried to throw it up and let Caratelli go get it on the sideline, hoping he can get one of his feet in bounds for the score. Wasn't quite able to do that. But he had Caratelli open there for a second in the back of the end zone. A nice job by Alan Wright recovering from his defensive back position on the receiver.
And that's the 2nd time that Edinboro has had a receiver catch the football in the end zone but be ruled out of bounds. And of course both occasions were out of bounds, but Edinboro just needs to do a better job of keeping those feet down. Bell churns forward and is down at about the 2, bringing up a 3rd down. Jamal Everett, Kevin Clark made the play for the IUP defense.
Bell, a 5'10" junior. Nice running back for Edinboro, who hasn't abandoned that run game yet. 3rd and 2. But they got to get some points on the board here in forms of a touchdown quickly. Still down by 4 possessions. If you score here, it's still a 3-possession football game. Need to see a little more urgency out of the Fighting Scott offense.
The IUP fans trying to will the Crimson Hawks. Sisson throws, it is caught. That's a touchdown for Nick Helmick. The tight end makes the reception down in the red zone, and Edinboro is able to tack on a touchdown from their offense this time. It's 35-13.
A nice throw by Sisson, squeezes it in between team coverage there, the double coverage on Helmick, and Helmick does a nice job holding on to the football.
It's a 2-yard touchdown pass, and Austin Reese will try to attempt the extra point. It's good. Edinboro playing well here in the 2nd half. 35-14, we'll be back. 1:50 to go in the 3rd quarter.
When I was in high school, I didn't know where I wanted to go to college. But I did know I wanted a major with job potential, and a campus that felt like the right place for me. I chose IUP. I'm studying on a beautiful campus with great professors who focus on student success and 140 academic majors. I'm Megan Spangler. I study nursing. Find your success at IUP.
Happy birthday!
That's wonderful. Thank you, dear, very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel so spring has sprung. And every time I see you,
You're not fooling anybody, you know. Think young. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Welcome back into the Crimson Hawks Sports Network. We'd like to thank all the hardworking men and women of our crew, braving the cold here today to bring you the sights and sounds of IUP football. If you just tuned in, you missed a 7-play, 62-yard drive for the Edinboro Fighting Scots. Jake Sisson completed a 2-yard pass to Nick Helmick to conclude that drive, make it 35-14. Edinboro scored 2 touchdowns here in the 2nd half, 1 on defense, 1 on offense. And they're ready to kick it off. Look at that. Up, the ball blows off. I think some of that magnificent camera work forced the ball off the tee. They're going to have to reset it here. They're going to have somebody come and hold here. That's going to be Sean Rolick. Reese sends it away, and Pegues will take it off the hop here. Walt is dropped just shy of the 35-yard line. So we'll see Lenny Williams and the IUP offense back on the field in a 35-14 football game. This third quarter has gone by rather quickly because both teams have had some drives that have spanned a little bit of time on the clock. But Edinboro has really done a nice job as far as responding from the first half. You can tell they're playing a much better brand of football here in the second.
Yeah, they certainly haven't quit by any means. And yeah, they're playing much better. That interception return for a touchdown by Mitch Thomas really gave them some momentum and some reason to keep playing.
Temple breaks a tackle, breaks another one, has space down the near side. One man to beat to the 10, cuts back and he's in! Number 6 for Chris Temple. You gotta be kidding me. Touchdown Crimson Hawks.
And a fantastic job by Temple, but also the blocking on that sideline by Swanee Brown, the receiver, really freed up Temple, allowed him to pick up the last 25 to 30 yards before he got into that end zone. So give credit to Swanee Brown and his blocking.
Chris Temple is back, and he's back with a vengeance, ladies and gentlemen. Rushing touchdown number 6 on the day. And we're getting to Dude Boys Meadville territory as far as some of these touchdown performances here. This is incredible. Chris Temple back and better than ever. Stu nails the extra point, and the Crimson Hawks respond 42-14, a 67-yard run for Chris Temple. We'll step out on IUP TV.
You! Oh! Your fault. You!
My fault?
Your fault. Your fault.
You're right.
What?
It's my fault.
What do you mean your fault?
Just the two of us. You're right, it's my fault. We can make it. Maybe both of us?
Maybe just you.
Receiving a Jefferson Award for public service was an honor I will always cherish. I've known since I was very young that I wanted to help make a difference, but I didn't create an organization to win an award. I did it because as a teacher, I believe all kids deserve a good start and a shot at high achievement. I'm April King, a graduate of Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Get my story at iup.edu.
Welcome back to the Crimson Hawks Sports Network. And Eric, we said in the first half there's a chance that Chris Temple could be making history here with 4 rushing touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, a new IUP school record for Chris Temple. That one a 67-yarder. Puts IUP up 42-14, and boy, Chris Temple has really ran well here. 191 rushing yards for Chris Temple, and I mean, what more can you say? 6 touchdowns speaks for itself.
Yeah, just 25 carries as well to get to that 191 yards total offense. You see he's got the big play ability as well. 67-yard touchdown run up the sideline for number 6 on the day, but that's that big play.
5-yard penalty, free kick.
The big play that Edinboro has shown that they've been susceptible to all season long. We talked about it coming into this football game. 8 plays of 40 yards or more that they had allowed coming in. And that theme continues today, unfortunately, if you're a Fighting Scots fan, as they have surrendered many big plays today, and that's one of the reasons why they trail 42-14.
Temple had 1 touchdown against Kutztown in week 1. There was a penalty on the kickoff, so IUP's backed up 5 yards, and they have to re-kick it. But Temple, a career-high 195 yards rushing against Kutztown, didn't have a lot of touchdowns, only had 1, but I mean, give him 7 on the year with 6 today. Just really an incredible effort, and he's done it in a couple of different ways, long runs, short runs. He's just been the Achilles heel for Edinboro so far, and he's been the IUP offense too, has all their points.
Well, you look at Lenny Williams as well from his quarterback position, 5 carries, 52 yards, averaging almost 20 yards per carry himself. So IUP continuing that ground dominance that we talked about.
Mitch Thomas almost stepped out of bounds, fielding that kick, and that is dropped by a host of Crimson Hawks near the 30. And boy, is it getting chippy. They're going to throw a late flag in with some late hits. Every special teams play, these guys are pushing and shoving afterwards, and it's ready to break down here.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Number 8 of the receiving team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That penalty, take a look here at this late hit coming in. It's Andrew DeGaulle getting cleaned up. They're going to show it again. Okay, look at that. Nice hit, but it was late. What a great crew. We got a great crew here. Director Najee pulls everybody working hard, having fun too, in a 42-14 game. It's homecoming at IUP. We love it. Miller Stadium. So Edinboro rather has the football, 1st and 10. 15-yard line is where they have it. Nice pass to the far side of the field there, and that's Sean Rolick making the reception, and some good arm strength by Sisson to swing it over.
Yeah, nice easy throw for Sisson. Just short, comes up about a yard short of the first down marker. And for IUP right now, keep everybody in bounds, keep things in front of you, keep the clock moving.
So Edinboro has it, 2nd down and short, 2nd and 1 we'll call it, as time ticks away in the 3rd quarter. We're down to the 30-second mark, and they'll hand it off to Evillard. And Evillard churns forward and picks up a first down. Justin Weldon and Jeff Palmer were there to converge on Evillard, but he is able to pick up another first down for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, Edinboro's offense in the second half, in terms of rushing the football, has looked a little bit better, with both Evillard and Corey Bell doing a nice job for them in the second half, but IUP is more than happy to let them continue to run the football and pick up small chunks of yardage.
Yep, see that clock ticking down. We're now at 10 seconds, and I think Edinboro may just concede, put the 4 fingers in the air, and live to the 4th quarter. That's exactly what they'll do. We're through 3 periods here at Miller Stadium. IUP leads the Fighting Scots 42-14 on this homecoming Saturday. What a Saturday it's been. We'll step out, come back with the final quarter of play here on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network.
I chose Division II because athletes graduate at a higher rate.
I can stay closer to home and be an important part of the community. I chose Division II because I can double major
And take part in campus activities.
I chose Division II because classrooms are smaller.
Students have more time with their instructors.
And I can compete for a national championship. I chose Division II for all these reasons and more.
I chose Division II.
A little voice came on the phone and said, Daddy, when you come home. He said the first thing that came to his mind.
I'm already there.
I'm already there. Take a look around. Oh, I'm already there.
Being there. Pass it on.
Welcome back. Chris Temple's already there. And by that, I mean he's already in the record books for the IUP Crimson Hawks with 6 rushing touchdowns here today. Edinboro has the football here to begin the 4th quarter of play. Sisson gets decked and it's intercepted. Jay Watkins makes the interception. He's forced down, but the pressure of Karan Gibson forces another turnover, and the Crimson Hawks now have 11 interceptions on the season.
Yeah, nice job by Gibson. Gets in there, disrupts the pass by Sisson. Has to get rid of the football a little earlier than he wants. The pass floats high. A nice job by Jay Watkins picking up another interception for IUP on the day.
The coaches love it. So do the fans that have stuck around here on a cold, blustery day at Miller Stadium. Credit to them for sticking around in a 42-14 game to start the 4th quarter of play. IUP has 333 yards on the ground so far today, and they probably will try and add to it here. No, they're going to try to go with a passing play. Williams directs traffic, throws a wounded duck, jump ball, tipped and incomplete, and boy, that's a dangerous one. The ball really seemed to hang up there for Lenny Williams.
Yeah, not a very smart throw, especially going into the wind like Williams was. You can see the ball kind of, no, there's no kind about it. Gets stuck up in the air right there. He's lucky that Edinboro wasn't able to come up with an interception on that play. And he had McVeigh open initially going down the seam for the quick hitter for the big play. He wasn't able to see him. gets flushed out of the pocket, but that's a throw you don't want to make.
2nd down and 10 for the Crimson Hawks here. Shannon Jackson in the football game. He gets it on the handoff, slips and falls at the line of scrimmage.
All right. Hey, let's go double.
Now sets up a 3rd down and 10. Let's see if they want to have Williams throw the football, or they're just going to keep it on the ground and churn some more clock. You're up by 4 scores.
And if you're Edinboro, you have to be prepared for everything, because the Crimson Hawks could really do anything. I could see them doing anything, and Williams is a threat with his legs as well, so they have to account for a lot of different things to happen here. Stack formation for the Crimson Hawks, actually a double stack here with tight ends lined up and receivers behind them. They'll try to set up a screen. Williams will keep it, flag down. Williams stiff arms a man, reaches the ball forward, and this one may be coming back. I could see the Fighting Scots declining it.
73 the offense. 10-yard penalty, previous spot, 3rd down.
Well, the Edinboro coaches are saying they want to decline the penalty. So they are. The IUP is going to have to punt. They will decline the penalty.
That penalty is declined. 4th down.
And there's the call there from Mr. Gebhardt. And IUP will send out the punting unit here. And this is the first time today that we've seen the punting unit and Matt Spiegel. No, Matt Spiegel doesn't come out. He was in the huddle, but they send out Jordan Spangler, the transfer from Mercyhurst. Matt Spiegel, Spangler were standing side by side, and they had to trick the announcer and send out Spangler. That's fine. We'll adjust anyway. 1 second on the play clock. Temple-style punt. It's blocked by the Fighting Scots, and that's a lot like what we saw in 2013, Eric, from this game. A lot of special teams miscues, but Edinboro will get the ball inside IUP territory. Some pretty good field position to work with. And head coach Kurt Signetti's trying to get an explanation from his team on what happened there.
Well, give credit to Joel Fulton. Able to get up the middle, apply pressure, and block the punt. Edinboro, hey, give them credit. They have not quit in this football game. And here they are. Let's see what Sisson can do. They get the football back on the IUP side of the field.
Good special teams play by the Fighting Scots there. And Edinboro gets it back offensively with quarterback Jake Sisson. He hands off to Bell, and there is just nowhere to go. Really just nothing doing in the running game. And IUP was able to hold Mercyhurst to just 6 rushing yards, and they're doing a lot of the same here with Edinboro. They've held them to 16 rushing yards on the day.
Well, that's the theme of this unit, the defensive unit for IUP coming into this football game. Talked about how tough they are against the run, and here they are yet again doing well today. But, remember, at the same time, Edinboro was really forced to throw the football very early on in this football game.
Handoff on the delay to Corey Bell, and Bell is knocked down by Kevin Clark, an anchor on the IUP defense. Kevin Clark now with 5 tackles on the day. He is tied for a team lead along with Robertson and Franco as far as tackles, 5 for all 3 of those individuals.
Now you look at 3rd down, 7 yards for Edinboro, certainly a manageable 3rd down. Try to keep the football and the chains moving towards that end zone.
Edinboro needs to get to the 42-yard line to pick up a 1st down. Another double move. Edinboro going deep. Sisson overthrows his intended receiver, Connor Hollenbeck. And I think Hollenbeck had a step, but Sisson throwing into a stiff breeze there.
Now, Hollenbeck had a step. You're absolutely right, going up that right sideline. Sisson just wasn't quite able to put enough touch on the football to let Hollenbeck run up underneath it and make the catch. And Edinboro, surprisingly, they're going to punt the football.
Yeah, they are in IUP territory, down a lot, so that's interesting, but they will just play it safe, send it away. Austin Reese on for his 5th punt of the day.
I'd run it like we're running.
That's a high punt with a lot of hang time. Forces Pegues into another fair catch.
All right.
And IUP will get it at the 9. Let's step out for 30 as these teams get ready to come back out on the field. We'll come back with the IUP drive right after this here on the Crimson Hawk Sports Network.
No way. Hi. Hi. Shine, come on and let it shine. Light me up, make me feel alive. Hi. She actually said hi to you. Shine on me today.
Tackles down the field, and he's to midfield. Stepping back from commercial here, Chris Temple gets the carry and breaks off another large chunk of yards. That's going to put Temple over 200 yards on the day, a 41-yard gain for Chris Temple.
Well, certainly a spectacular day for the sophomore Chris Temple. As you mentioned, Josh, up over 200 yards for the afternoon to go along with those 6 touchdowns. But what separates him is he's a big, strong physical runner, but he also has the ability, once he's open and gets out in space, to make that big play and go 20 or 30 yards downfield.
So 1st and 10 for the Crimson Hawks here with Lenny Williams handing off to Temple again, and Temple with a lot of running room on the far side. Flag comes down. IUP did a nice job sealing off the edge, but then a late penalty flag.
73 the offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Eddie Byer picks up the penalty. Temple with 232 yards on the day, 6 touchdowns so far. Looking back just into my memory bank here, I recall DeAntoine Williams picking up over 315 yards rushing against Shippensburg in the season finale in 2013. I think that was the last time a player had over 300 for IUP, and the way Temple's going is well on his way. Still over 10 minutes to go in this 4th quarter, and a 1st and 15. Temple's not in the game right now as they bring in Harris, and they hand to Harris in the middle. Harris churning his legs forward, trying to pick up some yardage, but Victor Hudson made the tackle for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, you look offensively for IUP, that's the 5th person with a rushing attempt this afternoon. We talked Harris. That was his 4th carry of the day for 32 yards, so very productive afternoon for him as well, an average of 8 yards per carry.
Harris had that 100-plus yard game against Lockhaven and was tremendous. No Luigi Listabrinza today, and it's not been a problem. Not that Luigi's not a valuable part, but when Chris Temple's motoring like he is, you can afford to give some of these other backs a break. Temple gets it, cuts forward, and is hit at the original line of scrimmage. A short gain for Chris Temple. Hudson was there to make the tackle again for Edinboro.
That sets up a 3rd down and about 9.5, 10 yards here for IUP. Let's see if they let Williams put the ball in the air, if they're just going to keep running the football and let that clock go under 9 minutes before they have to give it back to Edinboro.
3rd down for IUP. It's a 3rd down and 9 here on this homecoming Saturday. And it should be a fun place to be here in Indiana after this one. Everyone's celebrating an IUP victory, hopefully, barring a major comeback from the Fighting Scots. Temple stood up at the line, brings up a 4th down, and we'll see the IUP punting unit once again. And Matt Spiegel is out there. We'll see if they bring him on to punt this time or if they bring on Spangler. They're going to go with Spangler. Well, both of them are standing beside each other. They do go with Spangler. Spangler on for his 2nd punt of the day. Just looking at the schedules here, After this, the IUP Crimson Hawks go on the road to face off against the Seton Hill Griffins. Edinboro will return home to face off against Clarion, who's had a tremendous start to their year as well. That punt is down inside the 10, and Edinboro will get it back. We'll keep it here as these teams are motoring their way out to their positions here.
Yeah, we alluded to this in the beginning of the broadcast, Josh, but talking about IUP's future schedule right now, if things hold the way they are, they'll move to 2-0 in the PSAC West. Next week on the road, as you mentioned, at Seton Hill, and then in 2 weeks back here at home in the Coal Bowl against Cal. Both Seton Hill and Cal entering today's action were also undefeated in PSAC West play. So it'll be interesting to see here between the next 2 to 3 weeks what teams emerge in the top of those standings.
Corey Bell cuts it back and is tackled by Franco. And looking at Seton Hill, IUP's next opponent, they had one of the signature wins of their program, I would say, last week, defeating Slippery Rock at home in a thrilling contest. Slippery Rock had a chance to tie the game up with about a 30-yard field goal. They missed it. Seton Hill held on for the victory, and that probably gives them a ton of confidence moving forward.
Well, and also you look at Seton Hill, this is the second year under their new head coach. They have a very much so a spread passing attack, 50 to 60 pass attempts per game. And for a team that's relatively new to the PSAC, that's a very big win, especially taking down a Slippery Rock team that really has been traditionally at the top of the PSAC West standings.
Ball carrier again, Corey Bell.
Corey Bell carrying the football once again. He's about 2 yards or 3 yards shy of a first down.
And looking at the schedules, Josh, on the flip side, looking at the Edinboro schedule, if Edinboro drops here to 0-5, you know, they have a surprising Clarion team that's also got a new coach this football season that they're playing well, responding well, especially offensively. And then they have to travel to Gannon, and then Mercyhurst at home, and then they play Slippery Rock. So very tough last 4 games to close out the month of October for the Fighting Scots.
Slippery Rock has beaten Gannon 41-14 today. Westchester has defeated Lockhaven 33-9. Those are the only finals in the PSAC. Sisson rolls out and finds his receiver Connor Hollenbeck, and Connor's able to pick up a first down, and he's been a guy that Sisson has kind of looked to on a couple of occasions here today.
Yeah, done a nice job, Sisson has, of finding that big tight end. He's been able to get himself open and make some nice plays as a safety valve. But Hollenbeck, just a quality, big-bodied wide receiver, tight end, kind of that hybrid.
6'6", 226 pounds, and Hollenbeck made his 3rd reception of the day with that catch. Edinboro moves the chains with a 1st and 10. They're back to the ground game. Here's Corey Bell. Lane pursues him, chases him out. And Takai Turner came in to help. But you see Dorian Lane and how athletic he is there, chasing Bell down and running him out from a linebacker position. That's some sideline to sideline ability for Dorian.
IUP has arguably one of the top, if not the top, linebacking core in the PSAC. You look at Clark, look at Miles Catlin, look at Dorian Lane. Very strong, athletic, and versatile bunch.
Now under 6 to go. That may be Evelard carrying the football. And no, it's not. It's Bell. It is Bell once again. He doesn't have really anywhere to go and maybe picks up a yard or 2. Now 3rd down and 2 for the Fighting Scots.
Let's see if Edinboro is able to generate any push up front offensively with this line, this offensive line that has really struggled today to generate any holes for the running game.
Another shotgun set for Sisson. Turns and hands to Bell. Bell is stopped, and he's going to be short of the 1st down, I believe. Yes, they're going to mark him about a yard short. Jeff Palmer and Takai Turner made the tackle for the Crimson Hawks. It's about 4th and a half there, 4th and 1, but there's only about a half a yard they need. And Edinboro will keep the offense on the field. Makes sense now under 5 minutes to go. And Derek, for people who are just joining us, What a performance they missed from Chris Temple. He started the game with the first 4 touchdowns, runs of 22, 6, 6, and 8 yards for Temple today. Tacked on 2 more in the second half to give him 6 on the day. And Bell is able to pick up the first down. Forward progress will mark him at the 49, and they needed the 46, they needed the 45. So first down for the Fighting Scots here. Now under 4:30 to go. We're ticking down near the 4-minute mark of our homecoming game here today.
The Edinboro still struggling, only 46 rushing yards for the day compared to 384 rushing yards for the Crimson Hawks, but they have been able to maintain, at least get some stuff going here in the second half offensively, has Edinboro.
Sisson looks deep, but goes underneath, and he's blown up. Allen Wright. The 4s converge, and Allen Wright comes out on top of that one. Darren Massey, what a tough individual he is. He's been beat up all day today.
A nice job by Allen Wright. Leads with his shoulder on the tackle, and Massey was really left out to dry there by Sisson.
Yeah.
He's got to be able to recognize that Wright's going to be coming up from that defensive secondary and applying the big hit like that, especially on such a short play, only a 3-yard pickup. You hate to see your receiver take a beating like that.
So a gain of 3. Sisson will throw again. Another double move and fires over the seam. Massey can't hold on, and Matt Moad's coming up a little bit gimpy there, and it looks like he's favoring that left ankle. He has had some issues with that ankle this season. He comes out again. But for Edinboro, just kind of recapping this game here as we tick down near the 3-minute mark, and the Fighting Scots with a 3rd and 7. Edinboro got their first touchdown of the game with the 88-yard interception return by Mitch Thomas. And then Temple responded with a 1-yard run. Then Edinboro had a nice 7-play, 62-yard drive. Sisson completed to Nick Helmick for the touchdown, and then Temple had a 67-yard run for the Crimson Hawks. That's the scoring to this point. Incomplete pass, and a late flag comes in on that 3rd down. A tough break for the Crimson Hawks. Sisson looking for Holland back again, and they're going to be moving the chains for the Fighting Scots with that flag.
Pass interference. Defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It's the 10th penalty of the day for the IUP Crimson Hawks, and Allen Wright's guilty of a 2nd pass interference, and that shows he was there a touch early, right?
Yeah, he comes in just a little bit early, makes contact with the receiver, impedes his efforts towards going towards the football. And when it's 42-14, that's the type of call you're gonna get.
Following the game, we'll be sending it down to our sideline correspondent, Brandon Norfleet. Sisson breaks 2 tackles and then is upended by Dubowski. But boy, oh boy, is this IUP defensive line relentless. And Sisson's a little worse for wear. He went airborne and may have had the wind knocked out of him. Landed hard on the turf. It's a cold day, and that turf probably like a block of cement.
Yeah, I'm sure that doesn't feel good for Sisson, but going back to Dubowski, who makes the tackle here, former fullback out of IUP Prep, and this year with the spread offense coming in, really no need for a fullback, so they moved Dubowski from the offensive side of the football to the defensive side, where he becomes a linebacker, second team linebacker, but he's getting a lot of reps, and especially here today, you see he makes a nice play in the open field on Sisson, makes the tackle, but it's nice to see him still be able to contribute to the program, especially after the offense really moved away from that I formation set which featured the fullback.
It's been a great conversion for Nick Dubowski. He doesn't get to play a ton because he's sitting behind Clark and Lane a lot. Miles Catlin is also another very talented linebacker on this IUP team as well. So new quarterback in the game for the Edinboro Fighting Scots. You may remember him, John Gervin. He takes it on a designed quarterback run and is dropped near the 25. The aforementioned Dubowski made the tackle. Gervin was the man that led the Fighting Scots effort against IUP in 2013 with really a tremendous game. But as I was saying, after the game, we will be sending it down to our sideline correspondent, Brandon Norfleet, for an interview with head coach Kurt Signetti. Check out our Facebook page at IUP TV Sports for a digital recap of this game. Look for highlights on Monday from this one as well. And another designed quarterback draw and a lot of space for Gervin. Andrew DeGaulle, who's in the football game, came and made the tackle, but another first down, and IUP beginning to work in a lot of reserves here on the defensive end.
Interesting side note, Josh, you talked about Gervin coming in as the backup quarterback, but when you look at the Edinboro depth chart, the backup quarterback is actually Jack Wallman, a freshman, 6'4" freshman. So interesting to see Gervin come into the football game, but he does have experience, as you mentioned.
I had a chance to talk with some of the Edinboro broadcasters here with another quarterback run, and it looks like they're just calling some simple plays here. I had a chance to talk with some of the Edinboro broadcasters who are actually located right beside us, and they told us that coming into spring ball, Gervin went to the coaching staff and asked for a position change because he thought he would see some more time on the field. But it's kind of worked out that he still has the ability at quarterback and still has played some. And this Jack Wallman quarterback here, number 17, is a freshman who this coaching staff likes, but he just doesn't seem like he's ready yet to take the reins in an actual game situation. So Gervin is the man for the job. Gervin will put the ball in the air for the first time. Throws into double coverage, and it's incomplete, and then they're going to throw a flag. That was probably one of the longest times I've ever seen a referee hold the flag and then decide to throw.
Still foul. 56 of the defense. Penalties half the distance. First down.
So Edinboro picks up a first down, and that was a late flag on Jeff Palmer, but late hit on him, and Edinboro trying to maybe pad the score a little bit here. 47 seconds to go. I want to update some stats to this point in our broadcast. Your IUP will end the day, unless they get the football back, with 384 rushing yards. Chris Temple will end with 234 and 6 touchdowns. Gervin, with receivers all over the place, another quarterback run, cuts back and is into the end zone for a touchdown. John Gervin calls his own number and takes it in for an Edinboro touchdown. That's a 3-yard run for Gervin.
And Gervin comes in, really does one thing. That's the quarterback draw up the middle.
Yep.
And you saw that 3 times on that series. But he's a big guy. He's able to get in the end zone, fall forward, and make it give Edinboro 20 points in the afternoon. The extra point here possibly at 21. But it's really hard when you fall down 28-0 on the road. It's very difficult to come back. And even though you score 21 points in the second half, you still give up 14, including a 67-yard touchdown run by Chris Temple.
The extra point is good, so it's 42-21. We'll step out. Another flag down, so we'll keep it here and check this. Don't know what they're calling here, but we'll keep it and check the flag. Referees conferring here to get this call. And here we go.
On the flag, personal foul, 71 on the defense. That penalty will be tacked on at the kicking spot.
It's got to be at least our 4th or 5th personal foul penalty today, between late hits, unnecessary roughness, etc. So getting pretty chippy out there. But it's kind of what you would expect. I mean, you look at Edinboro 0-4, dropping to 0-5 on the season. It's a cold day. It's a 3.5-hour bus ride. And you get down here and really you're out of the game before the first quarter is even over.
Exactly.
Very disappointing afternoon if you're the Fighting Scots. On the flip side, look at the IUP perspective. Now you move to 2-0 in Western Conference play. Move to 3-1 on the season, 3 wins in a row. And really you control your own fate. Seton Hill on the road next week. You play at home against Cal. Then it's 2 tough road games at Slippery Rock and then at Clarion to end the month. So really an October that's going to make or break a lot of teams in the western side of the conference.
IUP will put Mikkel Makel back to receive this along with Jay Watkins. And Eric, I'm not even going to ask you who your player of the game is, because if you didn't say Chris Temple, I'd probably smack you upside the head here, but I know you would, so I won't even bother asking. 41 seconds to go. And like you said, IUP jumped out to an early lead, and Marty Higgins has left the building, so that's great. He's seen enough, and I think a lot of these people have, because Crimson Hawks have taken it to the Fighting Scots in the second half. They did a nice job, Edinboro did, to start the second half. A couple of touchdowns, the long interception, and then the nice drive, but it's really been all IUP from the get-go. And we'll take a look and see how many rushing yards Edinboro did end up with, and it's 78, so a lot more than the Crimson Hawks gave up before, but a lot of those yards came on that last drive with some backups in and Gervin, keeping the football.
No, a very solid performance by IUP defensively. And really, they did exactly what we thought they were going to do today. We thought that they would be able to control the line in terms of defense. But IUP did a nice job shutting down the Edinboro run game, and then offensively, almost 300 yards running the football.
Here's Mikhail Makel, and he's close to breaking that one there. But it's been a happy homecoming for the IUP Crimson Hawks, and we'll see if they're able to continue it. Some guys that work hard will get a chance to play, hopefully. They are going to take Chris Temple out of the game, and want to remind you to stay tuned for a post-game interview with head coach Curt Cignetti. Brandon Norfleet is set and ready to roll down there with us. Of course, he did a great job talking with Coach Scott Browning to start the half. Chase Haslett will come on and put the final nail in the coffin with a kneel down. So just updating, IUP will move to 2-0 in the PSAC, make it the PSAC West 3-0, or 3-1 rather, in the overall record. Edinboro drops to 0-5, 0-2 in the PSAC West. So the teams will salute and shake hands and give their well wishes to one another. 6 touchdown performance for Chris Temple today. We're just going to buy time to send it down to Coach Cignetti, and here we go. Here's Brandon Norfleet with the coach right now.
Be aware of this, but Chris Temple set an IUP record for the most single touchdowns in a single football game. Have you, in your long history as a coach, ever seen a player score 6 times and be the only points put on the board?
I don't know. I can't really remember. It's been 34 years, but that's great for him. Chris goes 100% everything he does, and he's a terrific guy. Does great in school, great grades. I mean, he's a total package. I'm sure we had great line blocking up front, and when you got a dual threat quarterback like Lenny too, it softens him up because there's always the risk of him pulling the ball. And so I guess that was a record-breaking day, huh?
It was. Right at the beginning of the fourth quarter, you were very animated on the sidelines. I don't remember exactly what it was. Was there something that really got you exercised at that point?
Well, we're taking a lot of pride in how we finish games, and the challenge in this game was we were so far ahead to come out and play crisp. And, in some areas we did that and some we didn't. And it's always difficult when you get a huge lead. And as a coach, you just hate to see the penalties, and we kind of gave him a cheap one there. We got the ball down low and threw that interception. Wasn't a very good decision. Other than that, the defense played, pretty well. I mean, those points were on them. So, hey, look, all these teams in this conference are capable. Edinboro came in here 2 years ago, similar circumstance, and beat us. And I was really proud of the way we started. Thought we had a good week of practice, and we took care of business and got the job done.
Good game today, Coach. Thanks much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Head coach Curt Cignetti, a happy man, and why not? 42-21 IUP over Edinboro. Play the victory song and have a happy homecoming, Indiana, for Director Najee Poles and our entire student crew. The IUP Center for Media Production and Research is back in 2 weeks with the Coal Bowl. IUP in California. For Josh Hill, Eric Kormos, and everybody else on our crew, we wish you a very pleasant good evening.